100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its 3rd generation providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
Good morning, Northwest Indiana. I'm Bob.
And I'm Brent.
And I'm Adriana.
Oh, that was good. That was
the best one yet.
That was fantastic.
That was the best one yet.
We have a rundown up there, but really it's just the three of us talking on a Friday here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in beautiful Hammond, Indiana, streaming live worldwide on the YouTubes
From the balmy
studios. Balmy. Although he did say, now that's wildly loud. I don't know.
Hold on, wait, let's try this.
We're working on my ears today.
There you go.
Oh, that's amazing. He did say he got a new, I don't know, more brake light fluid or something like that delivered.
But the door's wide open. All our cold air is getting out.
I know, right?
We don't want to broadcast that fact.
Oh, yeah, the FCC wouldn't like that. So on Monday, I did a remote from what I'm just nicely calling, oh my gosh, it's Jed, everybody.
Wait, that didn't last long, did it? It's like, I'm going to get some things done. I'll join you all in a few.
I got
2
work
minutes
to do.
in, he's like, we got to get these guys.
I
These guys
zoomed
need some
out
help
for that
really
dramatic
fast.
effect. Nobody was there.
Nobody's there. Nobody's there. Yeah, so I did the show Monday from what we're calling WJOB Southern Command. And, it was amazing. It was about 66 degrees in that studio. And they had snacks. That was fantastic. Hey, boss.
Hey, how is everybody?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Hang on.
There you go.
She's got a...
Thanks for turning me on. Thanks to everybody. You know,
I'm happy to.
hey, Brent, when you go away from docs, I mean, don't you expect people to call you and say, hey, what about this, or text or this? And, you know, ask for your tutelage of some sort on some task that needs your decision, right?
Pretty much nonstop.
No, he's saying, like, if you're not there.
Like you go on vacation, nonstop your phone, and your wife just gets it, and Amy's just like, all right, well, he's walked away. Bart, you're playing catch with Bart, your phone rings.
There was one time I was helping coordinate snow plowing in Dyer, walking around Epcot. It never ends.
Really?
Yeah.
So
no, that's
and maybe Adriana can explain this to me. For 22 years, I've owned WJOB, and every time I go away, there's some sort of consultation of what I'm needed for. Hey, what about this? What about that?
Are you going to cry because nobody called you?
Yes.
No, we asked you once, and
Nobody-
it was, hey, do we take this meeting or do you want us to reschedule? That was the
Oh,
problem.
one day, that was just what. Oh, and I'm like, your call. I don't care. But nobody called me about anything.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep.
Hey, there's
But
a meeting
isn't
on
it
Wednesday
from-
you forgot about. Okay,
From your
well,
point of view, run a business, isn't that the dream? To build a team that whether you're there or not, we got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I had that back in 2019, before COVID. I mean, we had 4 restaurants in 3 states, 225-ish employees, but I had an outstanding management team. Like, I had managers who I had several people who didn't work in one store that oversaw things. And I had a guy that was like my right-hand man who was with us for a very long time, and I still talk to him about docs every day. I mean, we talk on the phone a lot, but I that's probably the last time I remember going on a vacation and not answering calls or doing stuff. And that's because Brian was like, and I didn't know this at the time, but looking back on it, it was really cool. But he would like threaten everybody.
Don't call him.
He's like, you call
Don't
me.
text him.
Do
Don't
not
email him. Nothing.
No, I mean, he when because I don't go on like vacations very often, but when like we go away for our
You go to
anniversary.
Dad all the time in Mexico.
2019 was the last time.
Oh, that was it.
Really?
Okay. All
But
right.
I mean, but Amy and I go away for our anniversary every year, and we try to do something with the kids, or, where we're going on a vacation. And he would literally be like, no one, like, they would have a meeting, and he'd be like, no one calls Brent for anything. You call me. And I didn't realize how good that was back then.
So
now I do.
Same thing with the town of Dyer. I'm sure your real job,
Now,
that one.
my real job, I'm able to 100% disconnect from.
Yeah.
Because I quite literally just leave that phone at home, and
But the town's always calling you. This is the first time in 22 years I went away, and after like 4 days, my wife's like, I'm just sitting there in the afternoon. I've already swam. I already rode
Driving
the
her
bike
nuts
for
'cause
an
nobody's
hour and
calling
20
you.
minutes. I read Joseph Conrad's Lord Jim. I mean, I'm like,
Wow.
finally.
You went deep there,
I
buddy.
went
That's-
deep, and then finally she's like, "What's wrong?" She goes, "How come your phone's not ringing? How come nobody's?" I'm like, "I don't know." I mean, what?
Did they all die? What happened?
And well, I think Lori and
Yeah.
Adriana and Lynette, I mean, between the three of them, they could handle anything here. Sam's got the sports and Ben. And then I got a couple of young guys, AJ and Hunter, running all the marketing. They even made a sale. And I'm like, and my wife's like, well, you're going to have to get used to this, to orchestrating and leadership. And I'm like, well, what do you mean leadership? I thought I've always been a leadership. And you know what she said? Pshaw.
I bet it was actually better than that.
Oh, it was awful. It's because you never made any attempt at being a leader. You were a doer. You just want to do the show, and then you want to do everything. Now other people are doing it, and you feel bad. It's like, well, I'm supposed to do it better than everyone else. There's absolutely no doubt Adriana runs the podcast network, organizes them. Same thing with that. They do it better than I am. And how do you handle that?
I hope they can do it better than me.
yeah,
I mean, that's like your goal as a real
Yeah.
leader, right? Is I'm going to build people who will make the same decisions as I would.
Well, because let's be serious. If this right here is top, a peak of WW, we got issues, man. So thank God for them.
You know what, Adriana, you need to take a bigger part of Fridays because that's our weakest day of the week. So just so you know,
After
I'm
August,
kidding, all
After
right.
August, I won't be here on Fridays
why?
because school's starting and I got a class at 9:30 in the morning.
See, ESPN, Big Ten, NBC, they can't steal her because she's still going to school. As a matter of fact,
Won't be long, though,
we
right?
are thinking of a program, and you guys figure this out, of like somebody works here through their college years, and then they're thinking of going and getting a job, which somebody will steal them, or I pay for their grad school. It's probably a better investment to pay PNW grad school than have her leave.
The doctorate too. There's like, yeah, just keep going, please.
Just keep
Yeah,
going.
you want your doctorate? Go ahead.
I was just saying the master's PNW's already paid for.
But anyways,
Can you do a podcast
I
at 8:30 on a Friday. I'll pay for your school.
So I do have, so we go to this condo place, and the best place to go, time to go in Florida, is after the 4th of July. There is nobody there, but they have all these restaurants, and they have all these things to do, and it's beautiful beach, except for red kelp, and it's just nobody there. So every day we had the pool, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we had the pool all to ourselves for 3 days. Nobody came down. And then on the 4th day, these 2 women come down. And so I'm like, well, there's women here. One of them's going to swim. And I just did my swim. And just Alexis is sitting there. She started talking to one of them. I go, I'm kind of annoyed these women are here on our
in
time.
my pool.
And this massive Olympic-sized swimming pool, right? So my wife comes up about an hour later. And she goes, hey, do you know who Susie Amrin is? And I go, Susie Amrin? She goes, oh, yeah, she was a financial lady on TV and wrote books and everything. I go, do you mean Susie Orman? She goes, yeah. She goes, I was just talking to her for like an hour. And I didn't know who she was for what.
I know that name. Who is
Suze Orman. She did all the
she had a bunch of-
personal financial stuff. And,
Oh, yeah, I remember her.
And I'm like,
She had the glasses
Yeah.
and would glare at people.
Yeah.
You're spending how much on your credit cards?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
I remember that.
Like the more militant
So
Dave Ramsey.
she starts just hitting Alexis. She asked me where you traded, what you did, what, and she goes, I didn't even know. She goes, where did you trade? What pit? This and that. I go, all right. But
Some things it's better if you don't know.
yeah, exactly. She never knew. So she goes, oh yeah, Susie told me about this and that, and I'm, she grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I'm going to see him down there tomorrow and all that. And but she did tell Alexis one thing. She looked at her and said, and what she has been is she's been basically a leadership consultant, right? Here's how you should live your life, a life consultant. She looks at her and she goes, you're too young to retire. You got 5 more years. And I'm like, that's a great idea, Susie Orman. I'm sorry that I was mad that you were sitting there in my pool time.
Yeah.
That I had to leave and go up and watch Jeopardy. But anyways, thanks for having me in. Is there anything I missed that is going on? I know Kuziak is wanting to come in and talk about Munster.
Yeah, he's going to come in and talk about the current chaos leadership stuff going on in Munster.
Is it really chaos? Talking to the end of the
I mean,
microphone.
I don't
know
know.
you're a restaurant guy, not a radio guy.
So, I would call it chaos.
So
the police chief, the town manager, the public works director, the town attorney, they all quit. Wouldn't you? How would you describe that?
Well,
High functioning town government.
so as
Bob, do you have a?
well, I already talked to your guys about it. Hein and the Grateful Dead dude, Lane.
That's
Hein and
amazing.
Lane.
Can we timestamp that
Yeah,
clip?
Hein
I
and
want that
Lane.
one. Yeah.
And we laughed about it, and they're laughing about it because
Well, it's humor is watching someone else fall in a hole. Tragedy is when you fall in a hole. So it's pretty easy for us to kind of chuckle about it, be like, yeah, look at the chaos going up there, like we do, any of these other towns that have stuff just because we're relatively stable where we're at. I've got thoughts on it, both politically and then also, how the operations of the towns go.
I think Kuziak has thoughts on it
well,
too.
but here's my thought on it, and I think it's generally shared. I got a bunch of Deedlows, a bunch of Forites, got some Ramirez's. There's a whole bunch of extended family.
Are you saying you're going to run for town council? in Munster?
I'm saying.
Did you hear it here
I'm
first?
saying that if one of us wanted to, it wouldn't be that big of a step, believe it or not. But I can tell you this: nobody wants that. We just want a stable town. I don't want this
There's a lot to be said for a community that you don't get a lot of news from. And I don't mean like, hey, there's this thing coming up, but I mean, no controversy. People don't show up to council meetings, not because they're apathetic, just because everything's fine. That should be the point, is that you don't hear about what's going on in town. That should be the point. And the fact that we are a month into, the monster mess is...
It is a monster mess.
I mean,
honestly, I stay as far away from it as possible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if I have to get involved, then honestly,
Are you making that announcement now?
No,
I'm
not going to get involved in politically. But my point is that, as you well know, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with it. But if you force me to deal with that, then it's going to be a problem for you. But the point about this is that you got to look at some of the history. I was a huge fan of Tom DiGiulio, who eventually Dyer stole, just like the Big Ten Network and ESPN steal from me. Okay? All right. But it was a good steal. All right? Because I'm like, it got a little hot for DiGiulio. He was there a long time. And quite frankly, he was the gruffest MFer on the planet. You know what I mean? He's very gruff and very difficult to deal with. But he and I got along well. He'd come out. I coached softball, and he would come out and he'd work with the pitchers. And, it would always be like a grumpy old sailor doing it. Rah, rah. Yeah. I told you before, keep your arms straight. And the young girl would be like, oh, my gosh. But I'll tell you what, next time she came out, she kept her arms straight, right? Yeah. So you've always had the seeds of just like Munster kind of churning, and then, well, I don't like this guy as town manager. I don't like that guy as public works. And there was kind of a little bit of cliquishness that never really, in my mind, lended itself to what to good feelings. You know what I mean?
So do you think this massive amount of turnover in leadership there is a good thing?
I don't know that much about it. I'm curious to listen to Kuziak.
Yeah, that's one of the Kuziak and I talk on the phone a lot, or I listen to Kuziak talk to me on the phone a lot, and he had that when we were talking about this. I said, why don't you come in and talk about this, because he has some really good thoughts, like the way his views on it. I think are pretty well on. I mean, you got to do something.
Well, the biggest one...
Something has to get fixed, right? I mean, or you're going to end up... The longer this goes on, the more people leave without stable leadership. There's people that have been there for so long that the things are getting done, but at some point that's going to start to break down, right? When you say that, like you and I were talking about this a few weeks ago.
It takes a while
who've been, maybe not the leader, but they've been in that job for 20 years.
Yeah,
they know what's going on.
Especially with municipal jobs, utility jobs, you get to a point where you have that institutional, that legacy knowledge that you can't put a price tag on except for when you need it, and it's a very high price tag. And so you start to lose some of that without some type of attrition plan. If it's not a planned departure, that gets tough.
So Westland leaving under such circumstances is, I think, the biggest part of this. And he, I have not talked to Shekel, although I know Shekel, as do you, in social settings. And I deliberately don't want to see him right now because I kind of don't want to know. You know what I mean? I know there's good officers, and I'm like, he's going to figure out a good transition plan of that department, and I think he already has, right? But Westland, in my mind, and honestly, I've been talking to him for a long. He's my lawyer. I have talked to him for a long time. I'm like, listen, I want you there because I have a feeling that I can feel the cracks, and I feel like you're a stability thing, and just cut it out. Eugene Weingold was there forever. He went through all sorts of stuff. I lived through it. I remember, no one's going to remember this, Chief Rind was up, and they wanted to get rid of him, and I covered that in the 80s when I worked here. There were always little kerfuffles in Munster. but I think it got to be too much, and then Westland's just gone. That's a big one for the town of Munster. You don't realize
and not only
how he held that together.
Is it big? And I have been not half paying attention, but the idea
you
that
and Hein,
yeah, I know,
and
Grateful
Lane
Dead
have been snickering to the south, and I know it because I snickered with you guys.
Yeah, there are not that many municipal attorneys.
Oh,
there just aren't. And so when you look at it and you say, well, there's this litmus test that if you've spoken with anyone in Lake County or the surrounding counties about any business, then all of a sudden there's a conflict of interest, you will have no attorneys. There are none out there. Munster, Indiana, you are not going to find an attorney if that's your litmus test.
I think they are gone on. I think I know who it's going to be, and so do you, and so does Kuziak, but I think that you are limited.
Oh, you're extremely
limited because
but
honestly,
all the
I
attorneys,
can't get on Westland's schedule. I'm like, hey, dude, Adriana's doing X and Y and Z, and what are we doing? I come back, she goes, well, we started another podcast and we have 5 more. And I'm like, when I left, I told you no more podcasts. Okay, well, there's that much demand. I like, well, what do we do, Westland? How do we make this? Oh, well, I can't see you. But I can talk to you right now for 45 minutes about personal stuff. But the instability that everybody around is doing what you're doing, and Hein's doing, and Lane's doing. They're not doing it overtly. I'm just blowing them out because it was funny. But I could go over and I could get, hey, Copeland, I want to go in your office. Hey, let's sit and talk. Snicker,
I know.
Snicker. What do you think McDermott's doing?
What I want to know, and this is where I'm interested with Kuziak coming in here. So you're listening to the teaser hour here for Kuziak's great comeback, evidently. I'm interested in his take because, again, social media is what it is. Rumors are that it all seems to hinge on one council member, and what I don't understand, I say. It's all of them. One can't do anything. And if you let one do something, then the other 4 are,
So let's just throw the names on it because I'm the media guy, and I've interviewed Jonathan Peterson a number of times. I know the guy. He went to Munster, knows my family, that kind of thing.
I've had him on. I've had him on before.
I feel as if he has the best interests of Munster at heart. I also feel as if, just knowing the guy, I'm like, his aspirations are not Munster Town Council, okay? And what do that he is prone to creating chaotic situations, and that Munster is not prone to dealing with them. So I think you're right. It could be that so many good people are going to want, Westland's going to go. Shekel's going to go. The town manager they just got paying a lot of triple figures, and then public works director, and I think somebody else. And I know all I got to do is, these guys are my friends. I've known them forever. Gardner, Schenken, Hofferth grew up around the street. Honestly, probably bullied him a little bit. I couldn't even, whatever.
You bullied somebody?
I don't know. My buddies.
He's listening now and he's flinching.
Little Hofferth was my little brother's best friend's little brother, and he'd come over and go swimming, and some of my buddies would just throw him off the diving board and stuff like that. But these are good men and good women, but I always just laugh at them. I'm like, why are you getting into this sassafras game, man? This is hand-to-hand combat. You got to be ready for that. And I'm like, you guys are nice guys.
Yeah.
That doesn't, when you're fighting Jonathan Peterson,
who has a big personality. You can't ease
into a knife fight. You know what I mean? And so now you have Peterson gathering his storm of people.
Circling the wagons.
And you have good people getting forced out. So that leaves a vacuum in Munster, right? And that's all I got to say. Because by the way, I ran into Carl Repay this morning at the gym or
Goat
the gym
yoga?
here. No, at the swim thing. It's like a traffic jam in the morning. He and I are sitting there waiting for lanes, waiting for double lanes. It's that exciting around here. And
I just picture you like at the end of the pool, like your feet
Jimmy in
just
a
splashing,
Speedo,
just feet splashing.
Can I get a
waiting for-
lane?
Can I get a lane here?
come on, man, I just want to go back and forth for 22 minutes. And we were talking, and look at what's happening right here. Petros going, and Chipotle and the Dutch brothers coming. Packing plant putting in $40 million or something like that. You got the largest Y in the world here. You've got the Sportsplex. If anybody's been in there,
The crane company. That's the top story in the Times today.
what crane company?
There's a let me get the name of it. A big multi-generational family crane business moved to Munster.
Marks, they're Dyer Sherville folks.
and they're coming to
USGO.
Yeah, their place is over in Illinois. They actually looked at the property just south of you to bring that.
Really?
But it's a little more. Yeah,
place?
but no. The place across from.
Okay.
Just quite literally just south of you, but it's a little too industrial for what we were looking at. But they were looking to move out of Illinois for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
So good on them. That's gonna be
USGO
a
Industries,
big job creator.
fourth generation family owned crane manufacturing based in Alsip. Moving their headquarters and most of their manufacturing operations to Hammonds. 105-year-old company, $25 million, 72,000 square foot headquarters and manufacturing plant at 5009 Calumet Avenue.
Can I use that as a teaser?
Jim, you can do anything you want.
So-
my friend.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I think by us sitting here, you're free to clip anything you
Yeah.
want. And
Yeah.
So
Adriana put us on break
so
2 minutes
do you
ago, by the way.
think that
We're just-
this? Yeah, we got till 6:30. All right. Then she'll just cut us off with music like at the Oscars. So, do you think that this crane company going, Dutch Brothers, Chipotle, Sportsplex, Packing Plant, I mean, Len's Meats, I mean, just keep going on and on.
Lynn's
Yeah.
moving was a big
Yeah.
thing. I mean, they
Do you think that is somehow a factor in the Bears' decision? All of this that is happening. Does
can't
it make
ima-
it easier for them?
I was going to say it would have to, as opposed to some community that has an exodus. If the Bears
Right.
are able to, in part of the probably hundreds of conversations that they're having, I'm sure at some point it is hey, what is being developed or redeveloped in your community? And I have zero doubt that part of it is, hey, not only are we looking for your investment, but we're getting millions invested in hundreds of private companies moving in, everything from restaurant to retail, commercial, light industrial. So I would absolutely think that would be part of the
I mean,
narrative.
they're just kind of the migration, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
I don't know. I honestly don't know what is happening or if we're going to be able to pull a Munster mess and screw the whole thing up somehow. That's kind of what
it's always a possibility.
It's
right?
always a possibility. But anyways, thank you for letting me talk. Adriana, thanks for yawning during the middle of their show. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to cook breakfast. And my wife's like, why are you here? I'll have to answer. Nobody.
The best part of this right now is everywhere you go, people are like, why are you here?
Yeah, I did the show for 22 years, and my wife's like, "All right,
get
I don't
anybody
do
to
that."
call me
And
now.
then I run this, and nobody needs me. That's the answer. Nobody needs me, so I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go pout for a little while. I'll see you guys. Thanks a lot. Need clean energy without the junk? I'm Jim Deedlow. I used to live on burgers, football, basketball, baseball. Now I'm gluten-free and more into biking, golf, and yoga. But I still need energy. That's why I love Paradise, developed by Emily D. Edwards right here in Cherville. My favorite is Paradise Packs Strawberry with gluten-free pretzels. Find it soon at Strachan Van Til or at spreadparadise.com.
Fox Point burst with free concerts throughout July. Our Wednesday night concert series features Hairbangers Ball, Hello Weekend, All American Throwbacks, and Keith Jackson and the Triple Dose Band. Enjoy the Northwest Indiana Symphony Orchestra on Friday, July 17th, and come back for Marrakesh Express and Echoes of Pompeii on Friday, July 31st. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-8094 and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for our full schedule. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
The best just got better. Tech Credit Union is proud to celebrate being recognized with Best of the Region, Best CEO, and Best Banker. To celebrate, we're offering 3 special CD offers with rates up to 4.5% APY for a limited time. Visit techcu.org or stop by your nearest Tech Credit Union branch or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union, the better option for people and communities we serve. Member NCUA. Minimum deposit required. Offer subject to change. Visit techcu.org for complete details.
And that's why we had to bring the goat.
You come dig us out of that opening hole?
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Bob.
I'm Brent.
I'm Adriana.
He's like, I'm coming. I left my laptop at work. Come on, just
yeah,
do a half hour.
but let me
I'm
just do a half hour.
I'm just going to hijack your first half hour.
Oh, you know what we didn't do?
Traffic and weather.
Traffic and weather. Oh, my gosh. My guess is it's chaos out there right now.
Send the weather dog out.
Oh, geez.
I tried to find a clip of that, but it's just a weather dog attacking. Not attacking, but like jumping up at the weather people. They don't actually have a video of it going in and out. But so, traffic and weather at the Sacramento studios. Currently, right now, it is 71 degrees today. We are seeing highs of 80 degrees, lows of 67, times of clouds and sun with a stray thunderstorm this afternoon. Humidity mostly cloudy this afternoon, followed by a clearing in the late. Again, low of 67. Saturday, highs of 84, lows of 66, mostly sunny and humid and crystal clear skies. Sunday, highs of 85 degrees, lows of 65, plenty of sunshine and crystal clear skies as we head into 90-degree temperatures Monday through Saturday. So that should be fun. Taking a look at traffic, 65 going north and south. Yeah,
it's fine. You
it's
don't
going
even
good.
have to say that.
All the numbers
it's
are
all
okay,
green.
everybody.
Everything's green except for the merger.
Yeah, everything's fine. All the numbers are okay.
Yeah.
That's your traffic and weather.
So, BP and the Pierogi Fest.
Yes.
Wah, wah, wah. So here's my thought on it. And I had this thought when Hammond, 219-845-1100, give us a call. Yeah, you heard Jed talk for the morning, but
you won't have to talk to him on the phone. He's gone now.
Yeah, you won't have to talk to him.
Feel free to call now.
So here's my personal opinion on the BP thing. Hammond, Mayor McDermott released something that said, "Hey, they typically sponsor a lot of stuff. Most of these mega corporations do. Mega corporations, if you're out there, Town of Dyer, send your money." He put out a statement that said, "Hey, we're standing in solidarity with the folks from 7-1, so we are going to return this sponsorship money." Now there is an internet push, a social media push, which half the time they're bogus and garbage, but every once in a while they grow legs. I don't know if this one's growing legs or not. I don't see anybody really protesting and boycotting the Pierogi Fest. It's a staple of the region. But my opinion is, okay, if you're concerned about, hey, now we've got this, what we're going to call dirty money. Not my language, but the internet's language. Dirty money from BP. You've got this sponsorship money if they gave 10, 15, 20,000, whatever they gave. My suggestion would be is keep the sponsorship money. Keep it. There's some folks from 7-1 that I'm sure would be more than happy to work your festival and pay them using that money. That would be my recommendation. I don't know if that's something that...
Is that like turning a good thing... a bad thing into a good thing?
Absolutely. I mean, I look at, again, for those folks of you out there, they're like, I'm sick of hearing from Dyer. I don't know, find a host that's not from Dyer. But these festivals take a lot of bodies to do stuff. And I tell you what, if someone, if BP were to give us, $10,000 to do something, there might be a handful of positions that, hey, for this day, Can you help out Public Works? Can you help out parking? Can you help out on the stage? Can you help out with something? All the folks from 7-1 are proud, hard workers there, and that might not be a bad way to, maybe a little thumb in your nose at the folks that locked you out. That's my opinion. I don't know. I haven't even asked Eric about that. Eric Schultz.
Yeah, Eric's going to come in next week and talk with us about it.
That would be interesting to hear his take on that. If they're doing a absolutely not, we don't even drive past BPs. We take another ride. I don't know what their opinion on it is, but just seeing one community saying, "Hey, we're going to send the money back," another one, I don't even know if they've responded to it. I think it's just this lightning storm on social media.
Well, I think when you dig into it, BP is trying to break that union. Right. That's
without a doubt. Yeah.
And however you want to frame it, some guy sitting in London in an office doesn't care whether or not anybody goes to Pierogi Fest.
No.
Which is a shame because Pierogi Fest is a fun festival.
It's a regional staple.
That being said, at some point people have to stand up for their neighbors and what they believe in. Right. So it becomes a difficult choice. Do we take this money from these people that that are really treating our friends and neighbors terribly and say, "Oh, we're just going to enjoy it. It's their money. We're spending it." Or do you say we're going to stand up for the guy that coaches my little league team, right? Yeah. I mean it becomes more than a functional action. It becomes more of a philosophical one, right? I don't think I stumbled over that at the end, but I think you get the point I was trying to make.
Right. We have a lot of folks in the audience that understand what you what you were trying to say.
I just didn't do it that well. I'm drinking water this morning instead of coffee. Sorry about that,
but
folks.
But there's a lot with that, and that's why I say, I don't know that either way is wrong. That would just be if we were sponsoring something that I'm sorry, if BP was sponsoring something that we were doing, I don't necessarily know that I would give the money back, but I would absolutely call up Erica and say, look, we've got this opportunity now, because it is for the, again, these are just my thoughts. It does support the Pierogi Fest is much more than 800 workers out of 7-1. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people that come through there. It's a great community event. While at the same time, because both things can be true, we want to have some solidarity and say, look, mega conglomerate based halfway around the world that could care less about us.
I've got it.
You're treating it. What you got?
I've got it.
Okay.
So, have you ever been to Mardi Gras?
No.
So, in Mobile, I'm trying to remember which crew it is. I think it's the Mystics of Time. It may be the Conde Cavaliers. But every year when they do their parade, right, Mobile has Mardi Gras is actually older than started in Mobile before it went to New Orleans. But their entire parade, they pick some political figure or incident in the state of Alabama in the previous year, and every float in the parade just lambasts that person.
Oh, nice.
So what if you turned the parade at Pierogi Fest, which is a big it's a big part of Pierogi Fest, right? What if everybody that participated in that parade made fun of BP and insulted them?
Oh, that'd be amazing, seeing all the Bushes walk down with big signs or something like that.
Right.
So
I might have just solved the problem. Like, we're going to take your money, but we're going to trash you while we do it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That fits everybody's needs.
I don't know that there's a wrong way either way. McDermott saying, "Hey, we're going to send this money back." Again, we're staying in solidarity. That's on them. That's fine.
Well, his statement on that I thought was really good. It's for years, the communities around the refinery have made the deal that we're going to put up with the smell and the danger and those things in exchange for the benefits to our community, right?
Yeah.
The great paying jobs, the money that comes back in, and BP's broken that agreement.
Yes.
So
and certainly BP has, and if Mr. BP wants to call in sometime, you have done. There's no way that
I have a feeling that the BP PR flack will not be calling our show.
No.
You're welcome to, though. Please call in
845-1100.
But it's I'm not going to do it this year. So it's Docs won't be there.
Yeah.
And
is that because of?
No, we had some other issues. Oh. I mean, I've got it kind of coincides with the State Fair in Wisconsin, which is that's a huge one for you.
Yeah, you did some potato thing last year where you got like 600,000 potatoes or something. I don't know.
We sold about 40,000 potatoes.
That's insane.
About 4,000 a day. Yeah, but that's a big production, and the way it falls this year. I can't go directly from Pierogi Fest to the State Fair. I tried it one year about 3 years ago, and it almost killed me. Leaving Pierogi Fest at 4 a.m. and starting the fair the next day was tough. But
speaking of killing you, we've got folks on the phones who are dying to talk with us. You like that? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning.
What's the good word?
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well.
And good morning to Adriana.
Good morning.
We don't ever want to. We don't want to have her to go to one of those national networks because she's real good at dealing radio and the media and all that.
Oh,
so we don't ever want to lose her.
Y'all got me for at least 2 more years.
2 more years. Okay. She's moving on. She's moving on up that record fame. She's moving on up. Let me just say that I've had a good last few days in terms of community involvement. And I just attended this affair to the new, hopefully, to be the new Sheriff Williams here Wednesday night. And I see what made me feel so good, ladies and gentlemen, and your listening audience. I've often talked about us coming together as people and I seen that in that room that night. I see the situation where Mr. Williams was surrounded by people who lived throughout the county, and how the love is said. And I said, they need to play this record, We Are Family. We Are Family by Sister Sledge. As I said, We Are Family. It seems to be like a family. It got around. There was one person who actually ran against Mr. Williams, and he was there. His name was Flores, Mr. Flores. He's a decent young man. I think he's let me see, he's a sheriff in...
he's the chief out of St. John.
St. John, okay, help me, please. Okay, of St. John. And he was there. And it shows the solidarity. I lost, I'm with you. But there was one person who was absent I thought would certainly be there. And that would be the mayor of, not that he was running for that office, but he was supporting another person by the name of Gore. And I thought that he had called into the radio, say, I'll put a sign in my yard and thing, but he apparently didn't want to come to this thing in support of, hopefully it will be the next sheriff. We don't know who will be the next sheriff because there is a Republican running against him. And we just hope whoever that be, because right now we need a sheriff who, not just because he's African-American, if he's not qualified, he's not qualified, okay. But I think that he's qualified. I think the surrounding community got support throughout the country. So it made me feel good because I am a person, I believe in, I love people. And I guess the last few days I've been involved with a lot of stuff, and most people know me being involved in politics, being an office holder. And I didn't want to do that no more. I'm 79 years old, but I love America. I think that there's some problems we have in America needs to be straightened out. I don't want to be fighting with the whole world because it's a danger to us when we do that. If you hit me, I'm going to hit you back, and that's what's going on with what's happening in Washington. So I thought I wanted to share that this morning, just to say to all the people who hear my voice when I go to these big things, oh, you're Ron Matlock. Oh, it's nice meeting you. I said, well, sometimes I get beat up. He said, well, there's only 2 or 3 people do that. I said, well, I don't boycott anybody's show. Your show, the people's on this morning, the other people on, and certainly on Tuesday too. As long as you allow me to have what I have to say and appreciate it, because we do have different opinions and we feel. But again, you can say I'm an all-American person, but I don't like sometimes the things that's going on. And when they hear me speaking, they embrace me. I could call the name of some of those people in South Carolina, but I won't do it because they might say, oh, y'all are no good, you with Matlock. So I'm just simply saying that you don't have to like me. I got a good friend of mine. I'm going to say this in conclusion because I know there's other people that I respect that want to call in. I say, Ron, you are a tree shaker. Say you're a tree shaker and other people are jelly makers. Sometimes you put up all the things that's wrong in the community, and you shake the tree, and other people make the jelly. So he called me a tree shaker. He said a tree shaker and jelly maker. So there are people who, because I see if it's elected officials not doing right, I'm going to call them out. But somebody else, they will be mad at me forever, and some of them are because I didn't support the person that they wanted because I didn't feel it was the right person. So I was a tree shaker, but other people who sucked up, they are jelly makers. They make jelly out of the tree I shake. So with that, have a great day.
Hey, have a good one. I think the only comment that I would have on that is when it comes to attendance on events like that, in the political world, it is tough to be everywhere at all times. And I think I'm probably pretty famous for not going to a lot of things, only because, this week,
Bob's like, you're not going to see me there.
Yeah, it's just hard. The amount of time that you give to running, and then you have to give time to actually doing the job. Whether that makes you successful or not, as opposed to glad handing, which is fine. But my first thought when I heard that was, maybe he's got something going on. The amount of times that I've skipped a fundraiser or something because I'm out hanging with Liam or something like that. I don't know. So I don't know that there's so much malice that someone didn't show up, or it could have been a statement, and whatever, that's bad too. But I don't know. That was my thought on that. Next caller, 219-845-1100. Give us your thoughts on BP, on Munster, or on none of those things. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob and Brett. How you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, Brett, talking about potatoes. Oops, I'm talking south. Sorry, I drove a truck too many years in Kentucky. Talking about potatoes, I put it out there. Today is National French Fry Day.
Oh.
But when will we have National American Fry Day?
That's a good question.
Freedom fries.
But on that note, come into Doc's Smokehouse, 1420 Calumet, and get an order of our Texas or Bama fries, which are...
Yeah, but are you going to have a sign on your door? Sorry, you'll have to come back after 2 p.m. I did that once at your place. But
one time, man. One time.
I come to your but I come to
in
the
10 years.
festivals,
I can count on that.
There's
on
no
one hand.
There's
the number
no
of
2
times
o'clock
we've closed
sign
early.
on your trailers. So, there's no 2 o'clock sign on your trailers. I was so happy that I didn't see that sign on your trailer.
Well, I was happy to feed you that day, Mike.
Yeah, I had to keep my mouth shut because between you and Stan, Big Frank's, I love both your places, except you need to try to get. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about a certain hot dog.
Hey, if I could just interrupt you for one quick second here. First we got a text on it. Now we're seeing it on 511in.org. It looks like there was let me pull this back up. Eastbound 8094 at Burr Street, there's a semi in a car accident that just happened. We're starting to see the backup on that. So for those of you on 8094 going east around Burr Street, there's an accident there, and some of those wait times are really backing up. So it looks like they're stopped between Klein and Burr. So that just heads up for those of you heading east.
I wanted to follow up on something there. Mike mentioned Stan Stefanski, or as I like to call him, the Sausage King of the region, or maybe the whole Midwest. He's taken over for Abe Froman. But yesterday was Big Frank Sausage 15th anniversary. So big shout out to Stan and Jill and everybody at the team over there. I can tell you, we just had our 10th. And 90-something% of all restaurants fail within the first year, and so when you see somebody like Stan and what they've done over at Big Frank's, go by and get you a Polish or some pierogies today, and tell them happy birthday, because it's like having the birthday of a kid.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I stopped in there yesterday, say hi to a few people when I came in there because I knew that, but I'm thinking, okay, he's been Big Frank's for 15 years. So at 15 years ago, what would have the cost of a Polish sausage cost? And then, like, you celebrated, 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years in April.
So, like, how, from 10 years ago to now, how much in Big Frank's, everything gone up? Like, there's a certain place where I go close to my yard where I teach, and they got a nice big board with their prices and everything, but now they got a piece of white tape over, and they got to keep changing the prices because the economy. Like, the other day when I went over there, the lady talks to me all the time. She knows me, and she says, "This is getting ridiculous. Every week we got to figure out. We don't want to raise the prices, but it's costing us. It's a shame." And then, like, the gas now going back up. I can't understand why that stupid port out there, why is that causing a problem with our gas? I mean, don't we have enough gas in our own country?
Yeah, we haven't had one of Brent's global oil market discourses in a while, but
it's a global economy.
No, but specifically to oil, we're a net exporter. We make more than we need, but the fact of the matter is oil is a global market. And what happens in China or the Middle East or Russia or Australia impacts the price of oil that we pay here. Whether you like it or not, the oil that we make here does not all get consumed here. It gets exported because in a capitalist society, if there's a company that can pump oil out, refine it in Beaumont, and ship it somewhere else to make more money, that's what they're going to do. And so that's why you see the oil market is a global market. And contrary to what President Trump or any president, I always laugh at this whenever it's election season and the president starts talking about getting gas prices down, and that's not just Trump. That's pretty much every president.
Oh, yeah.
They literally have nothing to do with it. There's very few things they can do other than like start a war in the Middle East. They can definitely drive prices up, but there's not much they can do to drive them down.
What I love about this whole, oil conversation right now is for the last week, all the talking heads on the right, and I'm giving you all garbage for it. They're like, prices are back to where they were before the war. I was like, so why did you go to war in the first place?
That's a good question.
Anyways, that's just
yeah. And now you got to have cooking oil for the fryers, and both you and Stan have to have cooking oil. So, did that cooking oil go tremendously up?
Yeah, cooking oil is up. That's not a petroleum oil, but it's a. I mean, So I use a system called RTI. So they come and we have 2 tanks in our kitchen, 900-pound tanks. They pump in fresh oil, pump out dirty oil, and I pay. It's like a nickel over the spot price of the trailing month in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And so
I'm trying to figure out, because of the price of the gas, when I go to the grocery store and buy a gallon of milk and I see how cheap that is, trying to figure out how to convert my 8-cylinder, or no, it's a 4-cylinder car I got now, to where it can run on milk. Is there any way I can convert my car to run on milk?
Maybe.
I'm gonna let other callers in and chit chat about everything, but keep talking about the potatoes, and just remember, sometime we're gonna have an American Friday. You know
what? We could get together. Sometime later this summer, when my life slows down a little bit, we'll have Trucker Mike American Friday at Doc's. We'll all come in. Maybe that's when we can do the live remote, Bob.
We could do that.
That would be fun. We could do the morning show and then come back on at like noon.
Yeah.
Bob has successfully completed the first remote show, right?
Well, T-Dabs does it, but it looks like love to you, T-Dabs. Looks like he does it like out of a shower stall somewhere. He's like on a Zoom call in here.
Yeah, I did a full remote show.
We built a studio down south, and but yeah, so now we now know how to do it. But we gotta let you go. We're gonna take a break.
Hey, Mike, I'm gonna get with you. We're gonna do Trucker Mike American Friday at Doc's sometime later this summer. You got to be the guest of honor. Oh, are we off?
Yeah, I was waiting for y'all.
Hey,
to be
there's
like,
something.
That's a break time.
I've got a human interest story I want to talk about.
She's like, what's interesting?
We're off, right?
These ads.
Break.
So,
we gotta do a break.
Can you put?
We got to do a break.
Oh, we're still on?
Yeah, we're still on.
We're still on. I was like, we got to do a break.
I thought you quit everything cut. Sorry.
No.
I've got a great story when we come back.
There you go.
Something's going to be a lot of fun. I want you to put a graphic up so you can hear how it goes behind the scenes here.
7:01 here in the region. WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. Streaming live on the YouTubes. But right now, we're going to pay some bills.
Head on over to St. George Greek Orthodox Church in Cherville for Greek Fest 2026 on July 16th through 19th. Come and enjoy the Greek experience with delicious foods like lamb, shish kebab, Greek chicken, spanakopita, and many desserts, including our delicious loukemades. Check out our drive-through options. We offer free admission, music, dancing, and a $14,000 raffle. Located at 528 West 77th Avenue in Cherville. For more information, contact the church office at 219-322-6165.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland and Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone. We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Welcome back. It's 7:07 here in the region. Traffic and weather. We do have.
We got some updates.
Again, that incident on 8094 eastbound at Burr. They had there was an accident, and it looks like it's backed up all the way. All the way before Klein. Now it looks like we're creeping up to Indianapolis, semi versus car, and so that's going to be a mess for quite some time. Other than that, again, 8094 eastbound, accident at Burr, backed up to Indianapolis. The rest of it looks fine. How's the weather?
So currently right now at the Shack Advanto Studios, it is mid-70s as I update our little weather app here and we bring back in the weather dog. It is 74 degrees today. We're seeing highs of 80 degrees, lows of 67, times of clouds and sun with a stray thunderstorm this afternoon. Tonight, humidity cloudy this evening, followed by a clearing later on in the nighttime. On Saturday, highs of 84 degrees, lows of 66 degrees. Mostly sunny and humid, crystal clear and humid skies. Sunday, highs of 85 degrees, lows of 65 degrees. Plenty of sunshine with crystal clear skies. And we have this weather as we continue on into the rest of next week with 90-degree temperatures and lows of 70 degree all throughout Monday through Saturday. That is all for your traffic and weather. And let's hear the story you were teasing.
Yeah, so I think this is a fascinating story, and I want to share it. Maybe I'm the only one interested in it, but I don't know if the listeners are familiar with what the Great Loop is. Bob, you weren't aware of this,
No, I
were
had
you?
no clue.
So the Great Loop is basically a circumnavigation by water of the eastern half of the United States. So you can start anywhere along the route.
There we go. I got the map up there for you.
There you go. We have a map up. But you can travel by water and make this circle around the eastern half of the United States. You go down, if you come through the Great Lakes, you go out the Ship Canal, you hit the Mississippi River for a little bit, then you switch over to the Tom Bigby, you go down to the Gulf, you can cut across Florida or follow the Intercoastal, you go up the East Coast, up through New York, across all through Great Lakes, and it's considered a loop when you cross your own wake. And people do it, it can take a few months to a year, right? And it's been a dream of mine for many years. Once my kids are older and retired, my wife and I are going to do this loop. And you can see there's a specific flag you fly on your boat. You'll see people on Lake Michigan if you're in marinas that are passing through. But there is a guy.
This his boat?
There it is. There's his boat. So this gentleman is a 71-year-old man named Robert Ewens, and he did this last year and set the record. But he is doing the Great Loop in a John boat for speed, solo. Last year, he did it between July 12th and July 31st, 19 days, 13 hours, and 1 minute. And he completed it in a 16-foot John boat. And if anybody's into boating, you can, much less going through the Gulf, but coming through all the Great Lakes, coming down from Mackinac, down through Chicago in a 16-foot John boat. He's got a bigger boat this year, but still a John boat, right? And this is a John boat with tiller steering, and he runs this thing at high speed around the clock. He's 74 years old. If you go to his name is spelled Robert Ewens, RobertYouens, and he has a Facebook page. He has an Instagram page, and once he's getting ready to start, once he starts, there's GPS trackers. He occasionally makes posts, but I saw it through a Facebook page I followed last year. He was about halfway through when I started following him, but I mean, there's it became this huge thing, and people, they would say he hasn't moved in 25 minutes because people were following his live GPS feed. Is someone around in a boat to go check on him? And it's just an amazing,
That's so sweet.
amazing thing. I wonder, Bob, if I got a friend with a big enough boat and he was coming down, could we do a remote from a boat?
In the moat?
Because I think it would. It didn't work out. I was at work, but I was really going to drive up and watch him go in. I mean, he started off, and it was kind of quiet, and the social media just grew last summer.
With
and he
the
had
goat.
He had people following him the whole way. I just think it's a fascinating story. The guy's 71 years old. His Instagram is at Ageless Wanderer Robert, and he's done a bunch of really cool stuff. This is just one of them. I think he took a boat through the Northwest Passage solo. If you know anything about the Northwest Passage, it's kind of an insane deal up through very cold waters. But I think this is really cool, and he's coming right through here. So if I was able to arrange the right size boat with a nice generator on it,
to just run up
could we get
alongside
out
him?
there and because people, it ends up with everybody's following him. He'll be going through places, and people will get out in their boats, and they're like following him. And
I think the sports side, if maybe we could borrow, they've got a Starlink.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll
'cause that's
find
all
a
we
guy
would
with a
need.
boat. Robert,
I'll find somebody.
Buchak.
Hey, there's no reason.
Eric
we couldn't
Doris,
do
if
it.
you're listening, we can do we'll plug your business if we can do a live remote from your boat when Robert Ewens passes through Chicago. I just think it's really cool. If you're looking for something fun that's not negative to watch on social media, because there's just hundreds of thousands of people cheering this guy on, because it's really an amazing thing. Most people take months and months and years. It's a really cool way to see the country, and it's been a dream of mine to do it for a long time. I've always said, I'm going to retire and do this. And but to see a guy at his age by himself in a John boat, I mean, he's one of the ways to go faster is to cross from about Pensacola, Apalachicola area of Florida down to the Port Everglades, where you cut across Lake Okeechobee and you kind of cut off the bottom part of Florida. But to cross the Gulf, and I know Lake Michigan is big and rough, but I fished a lot in the Gulf of Mexico in really big boats.
Excuse me, Brent. We're going to get callers on this.
What?
The Gulf of America.
Oh, come on. Whatever. The big body of water that's south of us, the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico. I grew up. I'm like Johnny Cougar Mellencamp. We can vacation down at the Gulf of Mexico.
They were talking in the chat. They were. It's like they're not even here for the radio show. They're just here to chat with their friends. And they were. I don't know. Is he coming this weekend somewhere?
I think he's at Tinley. I saw him a couple years ago. I went to a great show. Thanks to former Chief Greg Mance, Lynn Mance, took a bunch of us over there to Tinley to see Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, and John Cougar. And he put on a great show. I'm a giant Bob Dylan fan, but Bob Dylan is very, very hit or miss. He can decide whether he wants. Willie was great. I think John Cougar was first, then Bob, then Willie. But I actually saw when he was John Cougar. It was the second concert I ever went to. I guess I was probably 12. And the Pink Houses tour when he was still John Cougar.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I'd seen him in 40-something years, and he was great. So.
Hey, callers, 219-845-1100. We've got a handful of you.
Yeah, I'm getting corrected in the thing.
Yeah, you are.
It's one of those things.
I understand. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mellencamp is from Southern Indiana. Is he still from Southern Indiana?
I believe so. I mean, I don't know if he resides here permanently, but he definitely claims his Indiana roots pretty heavily, right? I think I saw he sang before the Indy 500 a few years ago.
Becca just sent me a text. I'm going. I knew she was going somewhere. I knew she was going to some concert because if it's
way to stay on top of it, Bob.
Well, honestly, you look. I will display the family calendar here at some point, and honestly, it's just if it's a Saturday, it's Becca concert, Becca concert, Becca concert, Becca concert. So I knew she was going somewhere this weekend. So have fun with that one, babe.
So here's my thing. We're going to figure out. I want to do this live remote. I'm going to figure out the boat. Because most big boats have a generator. You just plug
live remote on a boat.
Well, I think we should
a boat.
We should do the remote, and we should try to get a flotilla, it's a group of boats, from Northwest Indiana, to go cheer this guy on when he goes into Chicago and down
I've got vacation days to go on a boat.
I mean, I just
let
think
me know.
It's just
right now everybody is arguing about everything. And is Mitch McConnell dead? Is he alive?
I just spoke to him for 20 minutes this morning.
Have you seen those memes?
I made one. I not only did I make one, I had a congressman which I thought was.
I think it's like Mitch McConnell proving in death that he is still the greatest political operator of all time.
Yeah.
He planned this. They passed a rule that said that the governor couldn't appoint somebody unless there's a special. And I guarantee you, there's written instructions. If I die, keep me on the machine.
Yeah,
past
and
this
it's
day.
something goofy. It's something like, if any of this happens before August 3rd, Thomas Massey could get in. So you got to wait to the 4th to let everyone know. It's goofy. I'm sorry.
I'd actually
Walt.
like to see Thomas Massey. I like him.
Well,
I differ from him on a lot of points politically over the last 2 years.
Nice having a rabble rouser.
Well, I mean, he's a guy. Whether you agree with him or not, he stands up for the things that he says. It doesn't seem to be lip service with him.
I'm sorry, Walt. You had some thoughts. We went off on a.
Back to my thing, real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, Walt. I'll let you go in a second. We need to make this happen because this is not about all that stuff. This is literally, if you follow this guy's Facebook and there's people are tracking him. There's an app you can get that's free from Garmin, and you can watch him in real time. And it's a celebration of somebody doing something really cool that really nobody can get on the wrong side of, right? So,
where was the
more to
boat
come
made?
on that. I'm gonna try to figure out when he's coming through, and we're gonna lead a Northwest Indiana flotilla with a live remote. We're breaking new ground here. All right, Walt, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Okay. What is the dates on the Cherville Greek Festival?
The dates on the Cherville Greek Festival.
Oh, please.
Yeah, you just had a
Funny you say that.
advertisement for it.
I am working with Nikki Lopez at the South Shore Convention and Tourism Bureau to start coming on, especially in the summer months. And they're going to do a little 30-minute show that outlines all of the festivals and stuff in the region.
It's next week, the 16th to the 19th.
Because Bob and I cannot
George-
possibly keep up with all of them.
St. George Greek Orthodox Church, July 16th to 19th in Cherville on 77th.
All the Greek festivals are good, but this one in Cherville is my favorite. Talking about restaurants, there was a piece in the Times on July 7th, headline, South Korean shops turn to robots in labor crisis. Well, what's the labor crisis? The population of South Korea is in decline. They have one of the lowest birth rates in the world. And the government estimates that the population of South Korea is going to drop from 52 million by a third to 36 million by 2072. So what's happened when in response to this, there's a tremendous growth in unstaffed coffee shops, ramen, eateries, flower outlets. There's something like 9,000 of these. And this has grown because they just don't have people to man them. These things are normally 24 hours. They make less money at any one site, but the profit margin on the robotics is 40% compared to 10 to 15%. How much longer is it going to take before your barbecue operation is going to be robotic? Any idea?
Well, if you've ever seen him do the robot, that's probably as close as you're going to get at Doc's 1420 Calumet Avenue in Dyer, Indiana.
That's right. Yeah, no vegan. I actually did. It's funny you say that. I had to look up the name of it. I couldn't remember it. A few years ago, I use an AI-powered automated bookkeeping system. So an invoice comes in, and we just open an app and scan it. It codes it and does all this stuff that people used to do that I used to have to pay somebody for. And I got put in charge. I was asked to consult with a restaurant in New York that is an automated restaurant. It's all done by robots. It's like they have, I think, 8 or 10 locations in Manhattan, but you place your order on an app, you show up, and your food is in a warm food locker like those Amazon lockers. And it's one person staffs and operates the whole thing. All the food is made by robots, like just the sandwiches and stuff. And the guy, I think, was an early investor. The main angel investor was an early investor in Uber. and they're basically automating this thing. So that what you're saying about South Korea is not uncommon. That is moving everywhere as especially in the hospitality industry, as labor costs go up and productivity goes down. You know, I know a lot of fast food places, like most McDonald's, use an automated fryer. So they just dump fries out of a bag into a basket and press a button, and you don't, like in our restaurant, we look at them, right? There's no timer. We just look at the fries. Are they done? And someone picks them up and does it, right? But McDonald's has eliminated that step. So no, they're taking the human element out of it. It's less people. So I think that's all coming.
You know, the Northwest Indiana has a Korean restaurant, Kui Korean Barbecue in Highland.
Yeah, that place is good. I've been there. Yeah, I have.
Yes, it's very good.
It is. Yep. It's very good.
And it's 9628 Indianapolis Boulevard. And any case, I recommend, if you've never been to a Korean place, or this place in particular, ask for the bento box menu, because they have different menus. And ask for the bento box. And if you've never had Korean food, my advice in terms of the meat that you order in the bento box, get the bulgogi, which is beef, really quite good. And their vegetables are really terrific. I mean, that's one of almost my favorite thing about it. I do like the Korean beef, but Korean food has a reputation of being very spicy. And, well, this place, they have spicy if you want it, but you don't have to eat it if you don't want spicy. And also, if you like to barbecue your food, they have in the tables, they have a place where there's a heater, and you can cook your own food. Now, if I go to a restaurant, I'm not there to cook my own food. I want it prepared for me and ready to eat, but. It's a good place. Parking is free. It's on the west side of Indianapolis Boulevard, and you don't have to speak Korean. Everybody that takes orders and so forth, they have good English. And
I like when you go to a restaurant and you don't have to speak the native language. Like when you go to Doc's at 1420 Calumet Avenue, you don't have to speak hillbilly.
Sure you do.
We'll get your order right.
Yeah. That's the only understanding they know.
Who is this voice I hear?
The one, Hillbilly 101.
The one, the only.
Do we want to take a break real quick?
Yeah, let's take a break before I introduce our legendary special guest that's joining us for the next hour.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention, and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I'm Pastor Eric Boone, pastor of the Tree of Life Church here in the great city of Gary, Indiana. The Notre Dame Credit Union. Go beyond and above to make sure that we are in position to make that greater impact. Listen, this credit union is one of a kind, and I'm looking forward to the future because I know that we will continue to do greater things together, and I'm forever grateful for a credit union like this.
Visit NotreDameFCU.com.
Hey Region, I'm T, and I grew up in East Chicago, went to college in Gary, worked out of Munster, and raised my family in Crown Point. I'm Region to the core. I created Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region. Added to chicken, fish, pizza, eggs, and more for the perfect blend of heat and flavor. Visit RegionHotSauce.com for a complete list of locations or to order direct. Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region.
Welcome back.
Golly, man, I'm struggling with this.
Take
this
control,
morning.
Bob. Take
Yeah,
control.
I did.
I
did.
They're just dog walking me around the
Bob
room
and
this
Brent,
morning.
not Brent and Bob.
On contrary to our YouTube chats.
Yeah.
Wait, is the YouTube
Look
chats
at
back?
you two. It's like you guys grew up right in front of my very eyes. It's like a parent seeing it's like the garden.
Yeah, it's been 10 years since you and I did since I first came on a show with you and Reardon.
10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Matt and I will be back together talking to Lori. I need to talk to Adriana. We are going to do a couple segments on data centers and some other things like that to educate the public. We can get into that later, but that ties into the Munster thing.
I'm happy that just on the data center thing, I'm happy that Dyer doesn't have a space where that's possible. Though someone could always come in and say take co-parts. I mean,
I disagree.
That's a huge spot. But the first thing I would do is I'd say, oh, okay, let me go see one, because all I hear are the extremes on both sides. That, you know.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I want to go over a couple things if you guys don't mind, but when we get into the whole thing about whether Munster, and you got people saying no data centers, this and that, before you make such a hasty decision, isn't it important to get all the facts? And here's the deal: if you can raise $50 to $100 million and put it next to Public Works, where no one knows where it's at, and it helps finance your town for the next 25 years, I think you have to have an open mind to that, especially with SB1 coming down the road. And if not, and I'll kind of preface this, if you're not in favor of that and you don't have any room for other businesses to come in, explain to me how you're going to make ends meet without a option income tax. And then if not, then what cuts do you want, Bob?
Right. And that's
what cuts do you want? So
every community in Northwest Indiana is going to have an option income tax. Every single one is.
Or the ones that were maybe smart and looking back and taking $200 million like the city of Hobart. Financing their future.
Is Hobart going to have an income tax?
No, they've got $200 million to play with.
I think they are.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Why? No, there is zero chance that Hobart's going to have an income tax.
Why would
$200 million into a...
Well, because that's forever, and a data center, even the idea of, hey, we're going to take this money and we're going to put it into an account that we can live off the interest on, because at some point you're going to need to redevelop that area.
Yeah, but you put money, Bob, you put money into that. You're getting $200 million. They're getting 300, but let's just say over the first two. And let me go over this first, because I really want to get into that, because that's important. This is the conversations that cities and towns need to have, especially going into next year's elections. Because here's the question people should be asking, and we'll get into that. Are you in favor of this? If not, what are you going to do to raise money? And if you're not in favor of either of those two, then what do you want to cut? And those are, and you deal with this all the time.
100%.
Those are the questions. But I just want to, I wanted to go over. We went to Wicker Park last night, and let me tell you something. They have that down. That was Band on the Run. That was an enjoyable evening. I know some people were upset that they brought it inside. I, as an old guy, after being on roofs when it's 105 degrees all week, sitting in the air conditioning, I'm like this.
Them old youngsters can sit outside and watch a concert. I want the AC.
I was perfectly fine with the AC, to be honest with you. So I was good with it. And special thanks again, to Adrian Santos and Nikki Micah, Kelly Bridges, and Rich Novak, and Lisa Selena Smatanovic, and all their staff to get this going. It was a great time last night, and it was even better because we were able to celebrate happy birthday to Kelly Smith. It was her night, and it was just beautiful. It was really, really nice. And for those people, if you haven't done it, it's concert series on Thursday. And Bob, you guys are going to really enjoy this as that new pavilion gets rocking and rolling. I know that this gets heavy sometimes on these airwaves, and if you put the cable station, I can assure you last night, no one cared about that.
Right.
I just am telling you, no one cared about it, and everyone was enjoying. They were just caring about what's the next Wings song or Beatles song or Paul McCartney song that was coming on, and if you were going to go out and dance to it a little bit. So big golf clap. And by the way, tying into that, there is a fundraiser, and I want to go over this because this is important because I'm East Chicago at heart. But today is a fundraiser. Let me go over that. At Wicker Park, so we'll be there 2 days in a row. Anytime you can go to Wicker Park 2 days in a row, you do it. It's hallowed ground. And on this 250th anniversary, I was thinking about this park that was dedicated in 1927 and the Wicker family giving such a piece of property and us jamming on Thursday night and then having the first annual East Chicago Memorial Golf outing today. So for all you East Chicago people, come on out. It's a shotgun 9 o'clock. I got to work today, so I'm going to meet those guys about 3. And it was just kind of, at our age, a lot of the guys that we grew up with are starting to pass. And so we're going to have a memorial for them at Wicker Park. So hope you can come on out. Come on out about 2:30, 3 o'clock, have a drink and a brat with the group. That's always fun. That's important. So I did want to talk about something, Brent. Is it okay, guys?
I mean, you are here. The forum is yours.
Yeah.
Bob and I
so can I tell you of what may be misguided? I want to talk about that.
So start from the top and give us the rundown.
So I want to talk about what my daughter sent me, and it ties into a little bit of what's going on with BP and whether you should take money from them with Festival Lakes and then Pierogi Fest. And Bob, as the citizen elected official, it does make sense who you take money from. And I am in complete agreement with Mayor McDermott not taking money from BP for Festival Lakes. And then and I'm not against Pierogi Fest for taking the money. I mean, but here's the deal, and I want to read this because my daughter sent it to me. Because when you're going to boycott something, you should probably boycott something that's going to hurt the right people.
Yeah.
I mean, boycotting, let me read this. This is just, I don't know if this is online. It says Pierogi Fest boycott. It says the BP Whiting Refinery is returning as a sponsor and active participant in Pierogi Fest on July 24th to 26th, 2026, continuing their long-standing tradition of locking out 800 U.S. W7-1 union workers. We're standing with the locked out workers and saying no to companies that put profits over people and fair labor practices. It's time to boycott Pierogi Fest and show our support for union families in Whiting and Robertsdale. Save this post, share it. I understand the zeal because on a previous program about a month ago, I made Jimmy and I think Brent, you were on, abundantly clear that I think that BP has failed as a corporate citizen and has failed for a long time. And I have the receipts to prove it. One of my best friends, Tom Coleman, was corporate communications and told us this was going on the last time they had a strike and be ready for this. And I think that they've treated the region poorly. I think they've treated their people poorly. And they're not good corporate citizens anymore, even though they are giving some money to this and to Pierogi Fest and Festival Lakes. But you're hurting the wrong people. The people like Brent, are you doing it this year or no?
No.
So here's the other thing. Pierogi Fest got too big. They need to get Pierogi Fest down to about the size 10 years ago. That's a separate issue, and I think that's going to happen just because that happens to festivals. Once they get too big, you either get them right size or they fail, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is people like yourself and all those vendors that paid money and want to enjoy, you're hurting them. You're not hurting BP at all by not going to Pierogi Fest.
Right, and that's I said that earlier. The CEO of BP sitting over in London could give a rip.
He doesn't care.
Right. Now, the question becomes, and this is what I don't know if you heard it earlier, but it becomes, is it a philosophical stand that you're taking, not against vendors like me or Stan at Big Frank's? I mean, he's going to be there. It's one of his biggest.
Yeah, but you're hurting him.
I wish people the best.
You're not hurting BP at all.
It doesn't do anything with BP, and that's why before you came on, I said, look, I understand what.
I thought you had an excellent idea.
I thought what
that's
McDermott did was perfectly acceptable. I think boycotting the Pierogi Fest is a mistake. If Dyer were to have a fest and we had a relationship with BP. We don't, and they gave us $10,000 to do something. I said, look, I'd probably call Eric and I'd say, look, I've got this money now. Do some of your guys want to come work the fest? And I'll pay out of that.
I think that we need to put local pressure on BP, and they don't care about local pressure. And again, let me tell you, and I'll take the liberty of saying this because Tom, who's passed away, confided in me years ago that this was going to happen. And he told me years ago, this is every bit of 10 years ago, that the people across the pond could care less about what's going on in Lake County, Indiana, and specifically Whiting-Robertsdale, okay? And they don't even need to say that. All you got to do is watch what they've done. They pollute in our area. They could care less what's going on, and they treat us like indentured servants in some way. And I'll tell you what, I would not go for that. And that's even why you had a Republican governor walk basically a picket line. That would never happen in the past. But this is not acceptable. But I don't think a boycott of Pierogi Fest, which you're hurting guys like Brent and other vendors. You're not. How are you hurting BP by boycotting Pierogi Fest? That would be the question to you guys.
So I don't think you are. And I want to go back. It was, if anybody wants to look it up, it's the Cosmic Cowboys is the Mardi Gras crew in Mobile. Just Google Cosmic Cowboys, and you can see some of their floats. But my idea was take the Pierogi Fest parade and have everyone decorate their floats skewering BP.
Oh, we were at the.
I think
listen,
that's a great.
We were at 119.
We can get behind hating BP while taking their money.
We were at 119th Street, LaPorte, as we always are during the parade, 4th of July. By the way, I should have started out by saying, what a country to live in, the greatest country in the world, 250 years. Enjoy the whole summer. It should be the summer of 250. Go on out there and see this world. How about all those people coming over from all the countries going, the United States is the greatest thing in the world, and you got people in here crying like little crybabies.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's a
and then
different
some of
issue.
those folks are like, man, the media, even the media over there, they're like, our story that we've heard of America is totally wrong. Everybody's welcoming and warm. And
We're sitting at the table last night, and I don't want to say what year we are, but it's class of 88, Bishop Knoll for my wife and her friends. I'm class 87. But we looked at all the families, the Bradkeys, the Barnes, the Kuziaks, the Kozlowskis, the Messiases, the Limoses, okay, and Lannon. All of our families came here. All of them worked in the mill or worked as a teacher or worked in this and have built generations of good people and part of the community. And I just think that should be celebrated. I mean, and I don't think enough people celebrated that during 250. I understand we have warts, everybody does, but you work on those things. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is the greatest country in the world, and I just think those people that don't think so maybe should fly around a little bit, go spend some time in some other areas and see how that is, because this is the best place to live. And I mean, it was so nice to have 3-4 generations together during that week, but I will opine over the greatness of this country. I will opine over 250 years of the greatest country. And if you don't want to, that's fine, right? That's my viewpoint. But anyway, getting back to this, I think that you should not boycott that. But I do want to talk about Munster and data centers, and I want to talk about SB1.
That's the big one, right?
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on. You want to take a break first?
I do want to take a break. I do want to break in with some news. It looks like after a 2-county chase of a wanted person over in LaPorte, right off of 94 at 421. Trooper has been shot. Suspect on the flee. Heavy police presence and police helicopters in the area. Again, I'm not.
Can you repeat where that was again, Bob?
Right off near the Speedway, right off of 94 at 421 over in LaPorte.
Do you think we should stop defunding the police?
So,
are we?
I'm just asking. Is that still a mantra of the left? Defund the police?
I'm
How's
sure,
that worked out?
I'm sure in some weird circles
how's that
it is.
How's that worked out? Because I want to fund the police.
So speaking of defunding the police, I think that ties in very well with Munster.
Let's take this break because I want to talk to people about data centers, because there's so many people that are saying no to data centers without even understanding what's going on. I don't know all about it, but as a business owner, anything that comes in with us, we got to learn what's going on. You make a decision whether you want to invest in it or not. And let's preface this, Bob, because you're the one that's dealing with this. you can tell us a little bit about what SB1 is, and understand that the state of Indiana has decided at the state level that they are going to give a baseline of business services both in the schools and in towns, and then if you want more as a community, you're going to pay for it.
Right.
So there's a couple ways to do that. And then the other thing that we can get into is the fact that they capped revenue, but they didn't cap bills. Think about that for a second. They capped revenue, but they didn't cap bills. So as a community, and people are going to look back at this, in 25 years or even 10 years from now, people are going to look and say, which community was smart enough to make the wise decisions to continue their community? And we have proof from the last 50 years, those communities that did not invest in themselves and did not invest in the future, what those communities look like now.
Yeah.
I want to live in a community that's investing forward. If you want to live in a community that doesn't put any money in, you can do that. There's some you could pick here.
Right here in Lake County.
Right, there's many of them right down the street. If you want to live there, go ahead. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to live in communities that are going to move forward. Okay? And those that don't will be left behind.
Well, and
that's a harsh reality.
Let's take a break, because this is my wheelhouse and I like to talk about this stuff. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in a few.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Enjoy the taste of summer at the Farmers Market at Fox Point. Every Tuesday from 9 to 1, shop locally grown fresh produce, delicious baked goods, artisanal treats, and local culinary creations. Just minutes from I-8094, the Farmers Market at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is a perfect spot to hear acoustic musicians, stretch with morning yoga, and enjoy community fun throughout the season. To see all vendors and entertainment, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
.45 in the region. We can do traffic and weather real quick, just to make the Deedlows of the world happy. 8094 is looking a little better after that accident right by Burr. But
I can confirm that it's getting backed up. I drove over.
Yeah, eastbound still.
I drove over Kennedy getting here.
So
eastbound is backed up.
Okay.
I act like 8094 doesn't exist. It's helpful.
That's North County. Other than that, 30 and 41's looking great. A little backup on 30 westbound at 41 for those local folks. And what do you got? The merger's green. So
the merger's
I'm assuming that's all we need to talk about with Chicago, because
everything else
everything's fine.
don't matter.
How's the weather?
Currently, right now, at the Sacramento studios, it is 74 degrees. Today, we are seeing highs of 80 degrees and lows of 67. Times of clouds and sun with a stray thunderstorm this afternoon. And then tonight, humid, mostly cloudy this evening, followed by a clearing in the late evening. On Saturday, highs of 84 degrees, lows of 66, mostly sunny and humid, and crystal clear skies. Sunday, highs of 85 degrees, lows of 65, plenty of sunshine, crystal clear skies. As we head into a bit of a heat wave Monday through Saturday, 90-degree temperatures and lows of 70-degree temperatures.
A heat wave for next Friday would be fantastic. Come on out to Dyer, Parkside Pavilion, Friday, July 17th. Gates open at 5. We've got the Morning Glories. We've got the Verve Pipe coming in, food vendors, beer garden, massive fireworks show for the 250th. Come on out to Dyer. Best place to live.
What day is that?
Friday, July 17th. Gates open at 5. Come on out.
That sounds good.
It's gonna be a great time.
Baby. 250.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of 250.
We've got we tacked on several extra encores for our fireworks show, and
we went to Cherville on the 2nd. It is by far the best. I mean, whoever they have, people should look at, and that group is phenomenal, and it's eye level mostly. So it's right on the baseball field. They set them up. It was phenomenal this year, and they do a great job over there. And they dealt with the water and all that BS that's been going on.
I think it's hotter in here than it is in my kitchen at Doc's.
It is so gross in here. Oh my gosh.
You know what would be cool?
Yeah,
broadcasting live from the lake.
That's like, Jimmy's like, hey, do you want to do something? I go, I'm in the summer? You don't have air conditioning, dude. If I want to do something in the summer, I'm going to make some money. I'm going to go make some money.
I got to get out of here in a minute and go to work. So let's go to Munster. Talk about the data center.
So I think that it's important to get a broader scope than just the data center. But let's get right to it. I did listen to Jonathan Peterson the other day, and here's my viewpoint on all that. This is called democracy. So the people of Munster are going to make a decision next year, and they're going to have to make a very big decision. There is obviously acrimony between the group that's there now, and there's a group.
The group meaning the council.
The elected officials now, which are all Republican. Jonathan Peterson is going to run, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, a group of 5 people against. He's an incumbent, but he's going to run probably 4 other people to try to get control of council. And this is America. Go make your point.
Yeah.
Here's my viewpoint.
Knock
to
on
the
the door
other
and
side.
sell it.
Yeah, go knock on the door and sell it. I used to say this to people that were opposed to the train. If you don't like it, get a candidate to beat Pete Waslowski and tell people what you want to do. That's called democracy. As someone that's invested in Munster, my family's there. My we're buying a house for her in the next 2 weeks. My oldest one lives there in my old house. My grandson's there. I'm completely invested in town. My sister, brother-in-law, niece, nephew. And I just for the fact that I've been in and out of there my whole life, I don't want to see it go down. And there's some acrimony right now. So I think that there needs to be a very bold and robust primary. And here's my deal to Jonathan Peterson or anyone else or Joe Hofferth and his group. Who's running and what is your platform? And then let the people decide. But here's the deal. By just putting a sign in front of your house and saying no data center, why? Or here's the deal, SB1. SB1 is taking hundreds of thousands of dollars and in some cases millions of dollars from the general fund, correct me, Bob, from every community.
Police and fire.
So police and fire. So if you don't raise money, if you do not raise money, if you do nothing, there is no such thing as doing nothing. Doing nothing means that you're going to cut. And maybe the people that call in here every day want that. But I think then what you should say is, and we did this in the town of Munster, okay? They did this in the school system. And this is going to play out in every community in the state of Indiana. When they got $16 million in debt, there was some nefarious activity, which is being in the courts right now. I'll let that play itself out. But the bottom line is, the administration that came in brought in Hendricks and said, you need to get us in the black. And he had meetings at night and said, I was hired to get us in the black. We're going to get into the black. It's going to hurt. And he said, here's the 6 things we could do, including early retirement for teachers that were very educated and experienced, to bring in someone with no education, to getting rid of AIDS, to getting rid of all this stuff. And it was all cut related. And then they also had the referendum. Yeah. If you do not raise additional money, the communities are going to be in trouble. And you talk to people, and not too many people have an appetite for a dire option income tax.
Right.
Okay? And so if you're not going to do that, the only other thing you could do is bring business in. So if you can bring something in, and in Munster, and I'm going to get all the information, and I'm not saying I'm for or against, but how can you say no if they're going to give you $50 to $100 million, and you're going to put a data center in an area where I know all of Munster. I have never been there.
Yeah.
No one would even know. If you put a data center where they're talking about putting it, 98% of Munster would not even know you put it there, and they would all benefit from the money that was given from that, or the deal that you make. If you're not going to do that, Bob, as you know this, Munster's budget, I think, is only like $15 million.
Right.
What are you going to do to raise money? The state has kind of capped your revenue in some regard, but they haven't capped your bills.
So
it is deficit spending. Every community is in deficit spending. That is not a good scenario.
So $1,379,000 this year, $2,066,000 next year, 2028, $3.8 million
out of $15 million.
Right.
So I want you to understand this when you're driving around. You have that no data center, or whatever it is that you do. Say those numbers again. So you're talking about a $15 million budget, give or take.
Yeah, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 for ballparking it.
So what the SB 1 is going to reduce Munster's revenue by $1.3 million this year, $2 million next year, and $3.8 in 2028.
So
That's the projection.
So do you have your phone? What is 3.8 divided by what percentage is that? It's almost 4. That's almost 25%.
Right.
So you're basically saying in 3 or 4 years, your budget, which is tight now, and all the bills that you're dealing with along the way in the next 4 years is not going to go down. So this has nothing to do with inflation. You're not even dealing with the inflationary costs. So you're telling me if you don't do anything in the town of Munster, so for all those people that say, oh, just no data center, okay, then I want you to think about this and talk to your council people that are running. What would you like to do? Because you're going to be $4 million short. Well, you're just going to have to cut. Okay. Do you want to cut the police? Go ahead.
That's what I was like. That's where I got to the defund the police, because
they're going to defund the police.
At that level, there has to be cuts across every part of the town budget.
It's 25% of your existing budget.
But the thing is, it's not every part of the town's budget, because municipal financing is in silos.
Oh yeah.
So we're not going to hit the utilities aren't going to take a hit, because we get that off the utility bills. What's going to take a hit is police and fire. Those are general fund.
What else would be in the general fund? Parks?
Yes, but they also have their own line item.
Because I thought for this year that if I read something, I could be wrong, but they had cut almost $400,000 out of their park budget. $600,000 out of their general operating fund to make up this year.
Yeah.
So
you got to continue to cut in the future.
You're going to go get a new person to be town manager, and they're going to have, in 4 years, you're going to have to reduce your budget by 25%. You think you're going to get someone to take that job? If you're Hobart and you had $147 million given to you in the first 2 years of that deal, and your budget's $26 million, you are going to be able to take care of your fire, your police, and hire the best people. And when people start determining where they're going to move to, or if they're going to stay in your community, it is going to be very prevalent to those communities that are investing and the ones that don't. And all you have to do is go up and down 165th from state line all the way east, and you can tell which communities have invested and which one has had disinvestment. Okay? And I don't want to live in a community that has disinvestment, and we don't want a bunch of communities that have disinvestment, because all 17 communities affect each other here. This is a real thing. This is going to be a fiscal cliff. And how people deal with it as elected officials, they're going to look back in 10 years, they're going to look back in 20 years, and they're going to say, that group was smart, this group wasn't, and here's the end result. And it's going to be dog-eat-dog. You're going to see this. And so to sit and say you're taking everything off the table before you have all the facts is basically infantile at best. It's elementary. Oh, I don't want a data center. Well,
what do you want?
Why? What effect is it that you're doing? Is it because this? Is because that? I mean,
so to distill this down, instead of just offhandedly dismissing a data center because it's bad, everybody's done their own research, whatever. Let's talk about what we're going to do to fix the problem.
Yeah, if not that, what?
And I think you have to take an all-encompassing view.
Is that the data center worth the town's financial security for the next 25 years? Some people are going to say no. Some people are going to say yes. But there needs to be a discussion about it.
Or where you're putting it, or what the effects are, what you're doing with the money.
If you're, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want one right next to my house. I don't begrudge anybody for saying I don't want this next to me.
It's not going to be next to very many people's houses. And here's the deal.
But this is where the discussion has to happen. Okay, if we dismiss that out of hand, what are we going to do? An income tax? Now, you said maybe you and Reardon are going to get into this, the local auction income tax. So everybody in Munster's going to have their paycheck taxed 1% more, right?
They may be okay with that. If that's the decision that the town, I think that's going to be a hard one to sell. But if you're not going to do that, cannot just not.
So
it almost
it's
distills
only going
that.
to be hard. It's only going to be hard if Lake County, the county, jacks it up for everyone. They're the ones who have the ability to screw it up, and this is why. Because
so Lake County could raise theirs, and then you and Dyer
in a couple of years that goes away, and we're going to have to reinstitute that at the local level, and the county's going to have an option too. So right now, county could really sustain themselves on like 0.75%. A community like Dyer, Cherville, St. John could sustain themselves of the loss of this ridiculous loss, the bronze Slager tax, as I'm going to call it, this ridiculous loss. We could do it for probably like 0.3%. So right now you're paying 1.5%. You could probably redo everything for 1%, 1.1%. So at the end,
What are you going to do with all the
less.
stuff that they said they were going to use that money on? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't some of that money for the Lake County option income tax already towards bills? So it's just going to go away.
That's where. The problem is the 1.5 that's collected now out of Dyer, Cherville, and St. John, we're not getting that money back. That's being siphoned off to the county and for North County projects. That is what it is. So at least this way, and I think this is a selling point for municipalities, at least when municipalities start doing this, it will be lower than what you're paying now, and the money that you make, your money, will stay in your community. So the 1.5% tax that folks in Dyer are paying, it's not going to Dyer. It's going to everywhere else.
So you're basically stating live on the air today that you guys are in favor of a Dyer Lake County, a Dyer income tax.
It's not whether you're in favor of it or not.
Well, you're
going to have to. There's no option, right? I mean, you can't.
There isn't an option now,
and that's what the state put.
Now,
I mean, basically,
this is the problem with statements like that. There's nuance to it. It's a matter of I don't know what that looks like. We also don't know what SEA 1 is even going to look like. They already bumped it back a year for the local.
Yeah, because you have the elections.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
To your point, you're like, if Lake County decides to lower theirs, we're going to make up the difference with ours.
But now there's also
what are the chances of that happening?
There's also a movement now
you think Lake County's going to lower it?
To just eliminate property taxes. Now, people will come back and they'll
14 of the 50 states in the United States do not have property taxes.
Right. Now here's the thing is I want to make sure people are listening.
But you pay it
eliminating
of course you do.
Eliminating property, and that's the point. Eliminating property tax doesn't mean you're now free and clear of this. You have to pay for police, fire, police, parks, and paving. You're always going to have to pay for that. So it's going to come from somewhere.
25-year-old socialism, everything pays for itself.
I lived in Texas. Most of my adult life, no income tax.
You do.
Guess what?
You do.
You pay it.
And so
you pay it.
You have to pay your bills.
Doesn't come out of your check.
The crime with property taxes, it's a misnomer. For one, you shouldn't be. There's that story out there that, hey, grandma, grandpa lived in this place for 50 years. They fell behind, and then some joke, bought on a tax sale for 15 grand.
That's a real thing.
Well, and so we want to get away from that, but it's not a property tax as much as it's a user fee. I mean, you're using police, parks, and paving. You have to pay for that somehow. So let me just say this: the reason why I don't mind openly talking about a municipal option income tax because
you're going to have to
because the county rate's going to drop
now. Then go. Yeah. Oh, hey, wait. By the way,
the county rate's going to drop. The municipal rate will raise. Hopefully, between the two, if there's some cooperation, it will be lower than the 1.5%.
If you don't do that, what are you going to do if these numbers are accurate in Munster? And Brent is going off of his website, and Matt Reardon and I will be doing this, and Matt does this for a living. He has all the numbers. If you have a $15 million budget, and you're telling me this year it's $1 million off, right? This year?
$1.3 million.
Or next year? Is it this year or next
This
year?
year's $1.3 million. Next year's $2 million.
Okay.
2 years is 2.8.
I would like anyone
3.8.
Anyone to tell me that they're going to cut 10% or 15% of the budget. How are you going to do it without touching? So Jerry Shoup told me at the stations down the street when he was still an elected official. So this is probably, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
He said, Dave, with the current setup of the 1, 2, 3, police and fire is going to be 100% and more than 100% of the local budgets. If you look at the rate of inflation and the rate that people need raises, and when you ran into COVID and you had supply and demand, and the communities, both from an educational standpoint, when they had to fight for teachers and raise the entry-level salaries, and to keep your policemen, you're going to have the communities who invest. They're going to be sifting off the top the people that they want. And if you're a police officer, you think you're going to work in a community where you're going to start off at 50 or 55 as opposed to going to a community where you can start off at 70?
Yeah.
And you've already seen that. So this is going to further exacerbate the difference between the haves and the have-nots. So I'm telling you this right now. It is going to be incumbent upon those people that in next year's an election year. These questions need to be asked. It's not about the personalities. I could care less whether people like Jonathan Peterson or not. I could care less. Okay? That's a part of the game. And whether people are leaving because of his disruption, that's a real thing. Okay? But the people of Munster are going to have to make a real tough decision. What do you want your community to look like today, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now? And if you have an opportunity, and not every community does, you have an opportunity for someone to come in with a data center. I'm not saying you say yes today, but you better look and evaluate that and see what the pros and cons are, especially when you could put it in a place where very few people live. And if that means that the requirements for that means an 8-foot berm or whatever it is so that there's minor disruption. Look, you talked about, well, they live right there. I lived on 8032 Monroe. You have 8094 is going nonstop. Where they put the extension of the South Shore was real railroad tracks, okay? I lived in Roxana for 5 years. They got the South Shore right there. I lived on the south side. They have LaSalle Steel. My mom lived in the harbor when she was born. You have all the steel mills. So what are you talking about here? The people that live in Whiting Robertsdale live next to BP. Are you telling me that business doesn't somehow... You think all those
There's
people,
a word for this, Dave.
Yeah.
NIMBY.
Okay, so I lived
Not
on Monroe
in
Street.
my backyard.
So all those cars that go
And I
up
get
and
it.
down Calumet Avenue, Bob, and before this, it didn't connect to Dyer.
Right.
For those people that don't
For those
know
people
this,
that think
it didn't connect.
And memories are short. It was 2005, 2006. I mean, so this isn't even, deep history. But we are going to take a break. It's 8:04 in the region, WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, streaming live on the YouTubes everywhere. We got to pay some bills.
I got to go to work.
Come to Bands, Bikes, and Brews on Saturday, July 18th at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois. A celebration of rock, motorcycles, and cold brews explodes at 3 p.m. with live music from Grindstone, Fatal Order, and Count 77. Rock out with headliner LA Guns. Rev up with special guest and bike judge Danny the Count Coker from the History Channel's Counting Cars. Admission is just $20. For tickets or to register your bike, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you. And we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strack & Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Welcome back. You'll notice Brent had a costume change during the break. We've got about 20, 25 minutes left in the show. I think we've got Veterans Views coming on at 9. They'll be in here. But we are talking data centers and Munster and BP and
elections
Wicker Park.
next year.
Yeah.
And this is democracy at its best. And, just let me read from someone that's been involved. I won't say who it is, but some of the things that they stated. You could sit and say you hope something doesn't happen. That's what kids do. Kids wish. They sit in a corner and they wish. Adults understand what's going on and they get ahead of it. And this is a real issue here. And so instead of talking about whether there's boys and girls sports or whatever it is that people want to talk about things that affect your daily life. Are you going to have enough money to pick up the garbage? Are you going to have police when you need a call? Are you going to get the road resurfaced? I mean, those are the things that we're talking about here. And, here's some of the things. Since you've been in office, how many, you've been 4 or 8? Have you been?
I'm in the middle of my second term.
Okay. What's the difference in a cost on a road just in 6 years?
I mean, it's absolutely insane.
I mean, if you had to give a percent, is it 20% more than your first year? Is it 30%
I would say between 30 and 40%.
So think about what you're just saying. So this is what I was talking about earlier.
Which the money doesn't change, so we're doing 30, 40% less.
So this is what I'm saying from a macro standpoint. Macro means the overall view. Micro is the minor things, or the detail-oriented things. When you're limiting revenue, which is what the state did with the 1, 2, 3, and they only limit how much you can raise your assessed value of homes by 4%?
Yeah.
And then you have roads that in 6 years, you're in the middle of your term, 7 years, right, has gone up between 30 and 40%. That math doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
And then people, when you guys are re-upping for your police and fire and all the employees, and you want health care for them, and you want all the things that you have to do to keep employees, that is going up at an astronomically higher rate than the revenue that's coming in. That's called deficit spending. So you can't put your head in the sand and just say, I wish it's not going to happen. You need to talk about it as we go into the municipal elections next year, and there is some battling in many communities. What is your plan? Who is running, and what is your plan? Because the math's not going to change by you just saying it's not going to happen. I mean, so I don't understand why there's not more of I think that there should be more conversation about this.
There should be, and I think on maybe it was right before the break, you looked and you said, are you saying you support this this local option income tax? And I'm saying I support the idea of the conversation. Right now, it's the only thing on the table. I look at what we're able to do in Dyer to meet the needs of the future, and that's the only option. That's also the reason why I get so salty with Indianapolis, because they came in and they said, look, first off, I can say this. I have knocked on just about every door in Dyer several times for the last couple of years. Nobody has complained about property taxes. Now, what they'll say is, they're going up. The rates aren't necessarily going up, but depending on where you're at, you're voting on school referendums. But, yeah, the assessed value is going up. And so there's some discussion about that. But for Indianapolis to come in and say, we're cutting $1.5 million, $2.5 million, $3.5 million for the next couple of years for all these local budgets, that only comes from police and fire.
So you're saying that that's the only bucket of money that you can go get it from?
The only smart bucket for these communities that are dipping into their TIF to pay for it. Now, for a while, you could not pay for salaries for police and public safety out of TIF. Now you can, but the problem with that is that's a pendulum that swings. So at some point in 2 or 3 years, you may be one of these communities like, oh, we're paying for public safety out of TIF. That's a Band-Aid at best, because in a couple of years when it swings back, now you've got the rug pulled out from under you. Now you won't have the money in your general fund, and then you won't have the ability to spend TIF, but then the TIF money won't be there to use what TIF is for redevelopment, to bring more business in. And that's a disastrous cycle. It's a Band-Aid. If you've got to patch $500,000 in a year to get through this cycle, I get that. But there are some communities right around here that are planning long-term salary spending out of TIF, and that's just a disaster.
So I bring this up, and we're going to continue to do this, and I've talked to some people behind the scenes here that we need to have adult conversations and talk about solutions. You can bitch and moan all day long. We hear it every morning. I don't hear any solutions. It's easy to bitch and moan. I mean, that doesn't take anything. What solution? I'm in the business of problem solving. I get people's opinions every single day. People call us for our opinions every single day. You have to solve problems. You have to give scenarios. Hey, this scenario is going to cost you $2,000. This scenario is going to cost you $5,000. This, especially with all these people that have had storm damage, you have to make projections on what you think is the best deal. This is no different now with what's going on. It is not the old way. And so when people sit there, oh, I'm not paying anymore. You hear people I'm not paying anymore. Okay, then don't. You're going to live in an area that looks like you're not paying anymore.
Right.
And as I said, you can drive on 165th and start at State Line and drive all the way east, and you can look at which communities have invested and which ones haven't. And you can choose to live there or choose to live somewhere else. I'm telling you right now, if in 10 years you are going to look at communities that have decided to invest in their schools and in their communities, whether it be a income tax or whether it be smart economic development, to help put money into the fund. And so there's 3 things that you can do. You can raise money, you can cut costs, or you can do a combination of both. It's not that difficult. So what I'm advocating for here, and what I will continue to advocate for here, as long as I continue to come on these airwaves and other media, is for smart decision making that is going to move this area forward. I already had my bite out of the apple, and it was a good one. I love living in Northwest Indiana. I think this is it's great. I'm worried about my 32-year-old daughter, my 30-year-old daughter, my 2.5-year-old grandson, okay? Adriana's group. What's it going to look like for them? The decisions that we make today is going to affect the quality of life for your kids, your grandkids. Do you want to leave them strapped in debt like we're doing at the national level? I do not. And so I want to be a part of the conversation. You cannot take anything off the table just because it's the soundbite of the day. No data center. I don't know anything about what it's going to do, but we're just not going to have any of it. But I still want my phone, and I still want my but I'm going to have my Netflix. So let me ask you this: if you're opposed to the data centers, if you are, then are you also opposed to the data that in all the functionality of those data centers? So you're basically stating, if not, then what you're saying is, no. I really want that and the negative side effects of that to be in someone else's community, but I want to enjoy the benefits of it. Isn't that nice, Bob? So, in other words, you take all the negative, and just to be, now I'll bring up race, and this is what some people get upset. And in the past, when they've done that in this country, and my family was a part of it, they typically like to put those things where black and Mexican people live, okay? And I'll give you an example. 5021 Alexander, where my mom grew up, and many of her and her brothers and sisters died of cancer, okay? So it's okay, put it over there with those poor people. I want to use my phone whenever I want it. But NIMBY, let's put it in someone else's backyard. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. It's pubescent, and it's elementary. And you know who's going to move forward? Those people that have discussions that are adult-like. And that's my viewpoint. We're going to continue to bring those people on. What are we doing? Some of the people I want to bring on Matt Shuford from the boat, okay? What are they doing there? When are we getting that's ready to start rocking and rolling? Yeah. That's $500 million worth of investment. Okay. Data center. What was that? $8 billion that Andy Quinnell brought in? $8 billion worth of building. So if you're going to build something, you put some money aside in case it's not going to last 30 years. You know technology is going to change. So take 10% of the project and put it in an interest-bearing account so that you can break that building back down and put it on the market for the next round of economic development.
For whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, you look down Summer Street right here. The city of Hammond just knocked down the old Glidden plant that's been sitting vacant for 25 years. Now they're getting it ready for the next round of economic development. It's not the first time. Go try to find a video store.
Okay, so here I wanna say this to tie back into your conversation, the conversation I just had. These municipalities that are raiding their TIF funds to pay for salaries, that you're right, whether there's the no data center crowd or we're Republicans, we don't need a local option income tax, all these things, whatever they're doing, they're raiding their TIF funds for that. What's going to happen in a few years is that TIF is going to be gone. So now two things. You have to find the salaries, but then you haven't invested in your community. Here's a great example for that. In Dyer, in the last few years, by the time we're done with all of our Parkside project on the north end, we will have put about $20 million into Central Park. That's TIF money. Now, people are thinking, well, that's a lot of money for a park. But what that's done is that's made the area more attractive. And starting this fall, Dyer is getting a $250 million investment from 213th and Calumet down to 30 and Calumet. The entire place is going to be developed. You're going to have a restaurant, hotel, commercial, residential. You're going to have all that stuff. And that's what you want. The TIF is there to invest into your community to spur economic.
It's an economic driver. And those communities that don't drive,
if you've promised this money elsewhere, you're not putting it back into your community.
So there's a lot of good people that work in the Hammond Public Schools, and they listen. If you want to look at what happens when you completely dismantle, and one could argue that it was either too big or too bloated, that's neither here nor there at this point. Look at what has happened to the Hammond Public Schools in our lifetime, and especially in the last 20 years, and especially since they didn't re-up the referendum. And that will happen to all communities if you just stand pat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You could say that. You could say anything. You don't have to like me, or you don't have to like the messenger. It's not going to change the message.
And there's only so much that cuts will bring you when we have the type of inflation that we have. There's only so much that cuts are going to give you.
I mean, that's one of those things that so I really, if as we got 9 minutes left, I come on for this reason. There are people deciding right now, and you're seeing people put their name in the ring to run for office next year, and that's awesome. And if you have, if you want to run for office, I think you should. If you have a viewpoint, I think you should put it on a platform. I think you should knock door to door. I think you should get into your community. You should say, this is what I want. But you can't sit there and have a serious conversation with any residents in these communities unless you bring this up. You could sit there and say, I'm going to build this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to do... The math has to work out. And right now, all the indicators are saying that this is going to hit us this year going into next year, and it's exponentially going to get worse. And so as someone that's an adult and someone that's been in this area for a long time, I'm 57 years old. I've been on these radio stations for close to 25 years. I've been involved with many of the early discussions about public policy, all the way back from the Region Roundtable, which was in that back room, about what 1, 2, 3 was going to mean, what this place was going to look like in the next 25 years. Here's a thing that we've been given that we didn't even understand 20 years ago when we were doing the program here. We didn't think that this area was going to be as hot as it is. And it's hot.
It is.
I mean, because Illinois continues to, they'll screw up a one-car funeral. And they're good at it. I mean, they're almost trying to give us the Bears. Think about that for a second. The Bears do not want to come to Indiana. They don't want to come to Indiana. They're being forced to come to Indiana. And they may take that deal because it's a great deal for them.
You look at the numbers, it would be really hard for them to, look someone in the eye and say, nah, we stayed put and we're just going to eat it.
The only reason that the Chicago has not been able to put together the package that the Bears want right now, and I'm not saying it's not going to happen, is that Mayor Johnson and the governor despise each other. Okay? That's an issue.
Yeah.
And so when you have that going on, I mean, at one point, the Bears may say, I can't deal with this dysfunction, and I'm going to get a $1.5 billion deal from Indiana, and it's just right over the line.
It's just right over
I'm going to
the border.
take it. So, I mean, whatever time I have left on these airwaves and in life, I am going to be advocating for what is best for Northwest Indiana. I don't need to argue with people. You listen to people. I don't need to hear people bitch, because you can listen to that. You're a dime a dozen. You know who's not a dime a dozen? The people that come with solutions. So I remember this. This was an early on lesson. I was 20-something years old. I was working at Corn Products, and I was the first boss that came in always. And, I was like real eager to tell the main boss what was going on. And he didn't even have his first cup of coffee yet. And I caught him right before he was going to his office. I'm like, hey, Rick, we got a problem. He looked at me and he goes like this. You know what, Dave? I don't want you to tell me that we have a problem unless you have 3 solutions to solve it. And then, you know what? We'll talk about those solutions, and I want you to tell me why you think that's a solution, and we're going to figure out what the best one was. I thought about that for a second. I was probably 27. I'm thinking to myself, okay, the first thing is to know you have a problem. The second thing is to analyze what are my solutions, and then start looking at what the effects of picking those solutions are. Those are the discussions that we need to be having in Northwest Indiana. And instead of trying to knock the other guy down, we need to look at high tide rises all boats. Okay? I say that all the time, and I hope you get sick and tired of hearing it. But sometimes we're our worst own enemies, Bob. And I'll tell you this. I ran for office for Lake County Council, and I went to a Dyer Park Board meeting. This is 20 years ago. And in communities were saying, I don't want this, I don't want this, I want less, I want less. I remember a couple that stood up. You know what they said, Bob? We moved to Dyer because we love it, and we're here because we want another park, and we may have to pay a few more bucks, but we want another park because it's a quality of life issue and we have kids. And we want this. I don't know if you guys have rectified this. They go, there's not enough parks in Dyer. And they literally, I said, and I was running in 5 different communities, those communities that are going to wisely invest from an educational and from a town standpoint are going to be the leaders. And those who do not are going to fall by the wayside. It's as simple as that. And then people will move to those communities. They've already started doing that. So if you don't understand the micro understanding of that, how can you run for office? And if you're going to pick someone next year, take the personalities out of it. Whether you like Jonathan Peterson or not, or whether he's a disruptor or not, what is your plan? Who's on your ticket, and what is your plan, and how are the numbers going to work? And if you're not in favor of raising more money, what cuts are you going to go for? That's the discussion that should happen going into next May, and then going into, for those communities like yours that has a contested general.
Yeah.
What, and here's my worry, because I've been around long enough, that a group will say anything to get elected and then have to deal with the ramifications later. What I mean by that is this. You may have a group that comes in Munster and says, my platform is no data centers. I'm going to win on no data centers. And they may get elected because of that. Then what?
Well, you get the one-trick ponies. I like to call them butcher, baker, candlestick maker, folks that are, workaday folks, but don't quite understand municipal government. I see that a lot with,
and most people
folks,
don't. Most people don't, because in a representative democracy, the people of Dyer have hired you for you to understand that.
Yes, and there's a learning curve that it takes some folks a short amount of time, some folks a very long time to figure out what government can do. I'm watching the chat here, and everybody's got an opinion on something. One of them was, towns just need to stop all projects. It's like, well, for one, you have to understand the financing of government. Yes, it's all tax money, but it also comes from the state, from the federal government. Certain things can be used for.
So no economic. We're done. So no more roads.
Well, and
everything just
there's,
stops.
There's a question about. I think it's more a question about the verbiage of when we say, "Hey, we're investing in the community." Are we taking your tax money and investing it in the stock market? No, but we're reinvesting it into the roads, because what happens when you don't do roads? You can drive around communities around here that are not investing in their parks, that are not investing in their roads, and nobody wants to go there.
That's what I do for a living.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I know what I know, because I drive around all day long, and many times 10 different communities per day. You can tell I told you, you want to drive on 165th, start on State Line and go east.
Yeah.
You can keep going east. You're going to run into a lot of communities. Take a right and a left for a little bit. Drive through some of these communities and see what you see. And see if you want to live there. I want to push this station. I want to push other media outlets to have the proper conversation about what the future is going to hold, and then let the chips fall where they may. Listen, if Jonathan Peterson, for those people that don't like Jonathan Peterson, there is a path for him and his team to win the majority in the mayoral primary, and then be in control of the town.
First one to three wins.
I mean, there is a path for that. So if you don't like that, you can sit in a corner and say, I don't like that guy. Or you can sit and say, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? You know what I would do? Here's what I would do if I was Joe Hoffworth, and I'm going to give you free advice, and I know Joe very well. If Jonathan Peterson wants to run a team and he wants to be in charge of Munster, why don't you put Jonathan Peterson in charge of the budget going into next year? Let him be in charge of the budget process. Let him deliver his budget to the existing council. Let him do it. He says he wants to do it. And from what Brent said, he's got to cut the budget by $1.3 million. He's going to be the one bringing it to your council, Bob. If you want to run the whole thing, then you got to run the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you got to be the one that comes in and says, if you're running your team, which they're running, what are you doing about the $1.5 million shortfall? Where are you cutting? What's your plan? Anyone could sit and say, I'm MAGA this, or those people are that, or they're doing that. Anyone could say anything to get elected. What is your solution? People get paid to rebel rouse all the time. You get paid more for solutions in the business world.
One of the things, and we're going to head out of here in a second. Mac, sorry we didn't take your call. You know what? We'll take his call in a second, because I'll give it a few. We'll take his call in a second. What I will say, because someone at some point in the chat said, where'd all this COVID money go? And I want to make sure that folks understand the difference between whatever shenanigans Lake County government's doing versus the municipality. There were a lot of municipalities that ended up paying bonuses to all of their employees, burning down some of that COVID cash. I always thought that was wrong because at the end of the day, everyone else was getting laid off or sent home from their jobs, and municipal governments, they didn't miss a paycheck. They didn't
I could
miss
tell
a
you
beat.
$14 million just redid the street that I'm going to be turning on right now to go to work, which is Summer Street, and it was much in need to be redone. So, and then also my daughter was working in the East Chicago schools. How much floors got redone? How much HVAC was supposed to be done?
My point was that we didn't spend it on just, hey, we've got this money, now we're giving out bonuses.
But that's your solution?
We kept it, and now we're able to weather the storm.
I know, you did that, but I'm saying isn't it going to be 2027 next year?
Yeah.
How long has COVID been done?
Oh, it's been done for, I was just mentioning
I know, but I'm just
some of these
saying
folks
that
in
I
the chat.
understand. So to not invest forward because the people didn't handle your money properly in the past is cutting your nose off to spite your face. Okay? So, wait, this person didn't handle my money right, so I'm not giving any money to anyone else and I'm going to hurt myself. Elect the right people that aren't going to steal and use your money wisely. I think most people in Dyer think that that's what you guys have done. Okay? And it's going to, so to sum up my viewpoint of why I came on and why I'm going to continue to talk about this and beat this drum is that for those communities that understand the reality of it, have smart people that understand dollars and cents and understand investment, those communities are going to move forward. The ones that don't are going to fall behind, and they're going to fall behind at a faster rate than the last 25 years. Is that fair to state?
Yeah.
That's my point. And so you can be whatever part you want. And I understand this. I'm a fiscal conservative, man. I'm part Polish. I got some of my communion money left. The last thing I like, that I hate when people burn through and waste money. But just because that's happened in the past, does that mean that you shut the spigot off? I mean, again, you can do that, cut your nose off to spite your face. You know, before we get out of here, I want to make sure people understand it's the first annual. They did it last year, but it was the Frank Folger fundraiser last year. Today at Wicker Park, they're getting off here at 9:00. It's shotgun start. I'm going to go up there a little bit later and have a burger with the boys. But let me read it real quick. I was with where's Johnny's thing? Did I miss it? Right here. So it is today the first annual East Chicago Memorial Golf Outing. And it's at Wicker Park today, 9:00. Obviously, you're not going to golf, but if you want to shake some babies and kiss some hands, as we say in the business, probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock, come on out at Wicker Park and see some people and kind of tell a story about some of the people that we've lost and enjoy some camaraderie with each other. And then also, just again, special happy birthday to Kelly Smith. Last night at Wicker Park, they did a great job. And Bob, I'm going to sound, I'll talk to you off the thing, but a lot of people are really excited about what's going to happen with the pavilion and when that's rocking and rolling. So tell people again when that's going to be kicked off.
Friday. Well, so we started with, we've already had our kickoff at Summerfest, but we've got an amazing concert next Friday, July 17th. Gates open at 5 o'clock. We're going to have Morning Glories, the Verve Pipe, fireworks, food, beer. It's going to be a great time. Before we go, just because he's nagging, Mad Mac, if you're on the phone still, let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, sorry for being a stupid citizen that I don't really know anything, but I do recall.
You said it. Someone flagged that at 8:35.
I do recall that gambling, putting casinos in, was going to solve all our problems. Yeah, that didn't work. I remember when they said weed. Yeah, just sell weed everywhere. That will take care. Oh, yeah, that didn't work. I remember when they said electric cars will be everywhere. There will be no more petroleum. We don't need oil. Oh, yeah, we do need oil. That didn't work. How about this? I remember when they said the South Shore population, the ridership would double if we just spent $2 billion on a train to. Oh, yeah, that didn't work either. Now the South Shore is using diesel-powered buses to put everything, to get the people to and from train stations. Yeah, that didn't work either. But I got a suggestion, not in my backyard. How about all the well-heeled folks in Briar Ridge donate 9 holes of their 27-hole golf course and put a data center there? It's going to work. It's going to print money. In your backyard is okay. So why don't we do that? How would that be for a good start? And then the people in Cherville and Dyer who live on those holes can enjoy watching the productivity.
I would look for a piece of property in Cherville as a sheriff's site, and most people don't even know where it is, next to either Public Works or next to an area where it's not being used to generate funds. I do that in a heartbeat. I have no idea. There's no different than any other business that comes in. Every business has positives and negatives, and if you don't want any businesses whatsoever, you can go live in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's parts all the time. We go down to Oklahoma. I drive sometimes 10 hours. There's farmland all over the place, ranch all over the place. If you're going to live in a community that has jobs and has a bustling community, you make decisions as what businesses you want to bring into your community. I would dare say that if I were going to pick a spot in Munster with a data center, I'd probably pick a spot where no one knows where it's at. I know more than most in Munster. I've never been to that location.
Yeah.
Okay? So I've never needed to go to that location. So I think that's probably a pretty good location. As far as having anything like noise or anything like that, I grew up right next to 8094. I know what noise is. Okay? You know what they ended up doing? They built a sound barrier. It works pretty well. So if I was one that would say that we're going to look at a data center, I'd probably put the standard together that say, why don't we build an 8-foot berm and maybe build a wall around it, even on 161st if I was in Hobart. You're getting $200 million. Maybe part of the project is that you do some sound mitigation, whatever it is. It's no different than bringing in BP, no different than bringing in the mills. It's no different than bringing in any other business. Every single business. Pepsi's right there. Pepsi's right in some of the biggest areas we have. You know how much Pepsi pays in taxes a year? $250,000.
Yeah.
Okay? So Pepsi has all the trucks that drive on Calumet Avenue, the ones that come out and gum up traffic all day long, okay? And they have emissions that go to all the different things that you have as a business, and they pay $250,000. So someone wants to come in and maybe go like this, I'm going to give you guys $200 million, okay? So there's a chance, because people are, this is the American dream, and voting matters, there's a chance that Josh Huddleston saved Hobart and gets thrown out of office next year. There is a great chance that he does that. And in 10 years, when all of this cutting, which is real numbers, this isn't these are real numbers, when they look back and they say, "Oh, by the way, we owed like $10 million to South Lake Mall because we lost a deal to them, and we're in deficit spending." I just did an estimate for a fireman. One of their trucks is 14 years in. They're obsolete after 15. It's $2.1 million, Bob, for a new truck.
I know.
Where's that coming from? Where is the $2.1 million coming for the new fire truck? It's just going to come out of the air?
We're taking delivery, I think, in September, and I think we're at $1.6 or $1.8 million that we purchased 33 months ago.
So I mean, you can listen. This is America, brother. You can vote for whatever you want, and the numbers are going to be what they are, and then you can live wherever you want. All I'm saying is that smart people look at everything and make wise decisions. And when you look back in 10 years, they're going to look at who the smart people were and who those made that were not. That's my opinion.
Hey, do we still got Mac on the phone? No, he left. All right, we'll take one more call. We're a little past our time, but yeah, whatever. It's our show. Last caller, what's on your mind?
Hey, Bob.
Hey,
Dave.
Good morning.
No, first of all, Dave, thanks for everything you're doing behind the scenes. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And you're right about Mayor Huddleston. He saved Hobart. Not just him, but the entire council saw SB 1 coming. You're going to have municipalities be in front of this or be behind.
Yeah.
And Bob, you know this.
Yeah.
These cuts are going to be catastrophic. And the longer we go, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And Hobart's in front of the game. Talked to quite a few Lake County Council members. They're ahead. They see this coming. The 2026 budget was the same as the 2025 budget. No increase.
It's forced consolidation. Dave, it's forced consolidation.
You've been saying that on the air for 20 years, Dave.
You are going to have to find new revenue streams. Look, I understand that it's emotional. At the end of the day, numbers aren't emotional. What the state did by design, and 70% of the Hoosiers voted for it. We said the 1, 2, 3 property tax caps will be put in the Indiana Constitution. So when you do that, it's going to spit a number out. This current governor said that's not good enough. We're even going to cut more. That's fine. He's going to have to run for re-election as well. The people may love it. But to sit back and think that that's not going to somehow affect people just because you say it's not going to, that's what kids do. Kids sit in the corner and wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills up first. I'll guarantee you that it's going to be the crap.
And living and being a Gary resident, it's frightening. The last thing, and they swore no more school referendums. Well, we shouldn't. We have 3,800 kids, and a lot of those ARPA dollars, and the money for the funding for the schools, that went to a new jumbotron and a new turf field at the one and only high school.
Look, Dave, look what's happened in Hammond.
Corporation.
Look what's happened in Hammond because of what's gone on in the schools. I drive by it 3 times a day. You got the Gavitt site that's been sitting there for 5 years. We do a bunch of work in Whiting, Robertsdale. You drive on 119th Street in Davis. You still have the Clark School sitting there. You know what happens to buildings that sit like that? They become dilapidated. All you have to do, as I said before, drive into the community that you live in. You can barely even tell that some of those locations are still schools at one time. Okay, I had William Godwin on, this is 6 years ago probably, or whatever it was, 7 years ago, when he first got elected, and he said the city of Gary is about $70 million light to do what we need to do every year. $70 million. So
every year.
It's a math problem. What are you going to do when you don't have $70 million? Okay? So you're going to start seeing these communities. Now, that's dramatic because of what's happened with the downturn of Gary and the community getting older and people leaving and the mills changing. But for those other communities,
we're losing.
What are you going to do if you're
300 to 400 residents a year?
Munster, Highland, Griffith, Dyer, Cherville, St. John were communities that no one really ever thought of that you had to worry about money, that you had sound people running them, and you do for the most part. But when you're in deficit spending, it's not good for anybody. So to sit back and just say, well, no data center, and we're not going to do this, and everyone's been wrong in the past, so I'm just going to sit back and let this hit me in the face. Well, go ahead. I'm just telling you, I'm making the prediction today at July 10th of 2026 for those communities that understand the reality what is facing them in the next 5 to 10 years and make the proper decision are going to be ahead of the game. And those that don't are going to fall behind. It's not new. This isn't new.
And there's some that are way ahead. So north of Route 2, this is not a rhetorical question. I'm going to end with this. North of Route 2, what city is so land rich and working on a tax deficit in there? And there's my question. And what would be perfect for a what city would be perfect for a data center that you could put it in an outlying area, not 100 yards from a home? That's Gary, Indiana.
Lowell, Cedar Lake.
Yeah. Here's my thing.
I said north of Route 2.
Okay.
Why is Gary not? And I don't know this. I'm ignorant to this. If Hammond's getting all that money from what they put on the old Dean Mitchell site over there next to Commonwealth Edison, why wouldn't Gary think about putting a data center on the water?
They've got all the.
I'm just saying you have. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, if you're Gary right now, you have to think about. You could sit there in an office and in City Hall and say, we're going to do this, do this, do this, do this. You're not doing any of that without money. Okay? And you have a supermajority Republican at the state, and you have a Republican in the White House. Do you think you're getting any help? No. So if you're an elected official, you have to start thinking of how am I going to draw revenue to start doing some of the things we need to do. You got 10,000 houses in structures that need to be torn down. They're not tearing themselves down. You have miles and miles of road that need to be redone. It's a complete mess. You need to, whether it be a data center. And I know people get upset about this, but there was a active landfill in Munster when I lived there. I used to dump there when I worked for Thomas Roofing. And now it's called Centennial Park, and next to it's, $500,000, $600,000, $800,000 homes in what's called Twin Creek, Somerset, cobblestones. I would open up, if you could, this J pit or whatever. Try to figure out we need revenue streams. We need revenue streams. We need revenue streams. How are we going to do it? It's business at the end of the day. You don't have to like what I'm saying. That's okay. I don't really come on here for you to like it. but I have the skill set and understanding and history and experience to understand what's going on. And so what I'm going to do in the future, and I've already talked to Jim about it and Lori, and I'll talk to Adriana about it, is continue to bring people on that are making the decisions and at least give, if anything, whether you like a data center or not, I think you need to be educated on the topic well enough to make an informed decision. And then at that point, as an electorate, you make the informed decision.
You said money is emotional. Anyone, especially elected official like you, Bob, you could never make any sort of financial decision based on emotion. That is a lose-lose. It's no different when you lose a loved one. You don't make any sort of capital purchase till you step back from the cliff, right? You can't base anything on emotion. That'll never win. But there are communities that are ahead of the game, and I applaud
Dave,
them.
Let me leave you guys with this. I was told this, and we're going to do some more research on it. Now, this, again, SB1 is new, and some of the new stuff obviously is new. I was also told, Bob, and you're going to deal with this, that there is legislation that is going to affect how much building departments are going to be able to charge. Okay? Now, some people say, oh, that's no big deal, and Kuziak, you're only talking about it because you're in the business. Part of that is true, that you have to be involved with things and understand, because that's a cost that affects not only my business, but anyone that does home improvement or build new.
Right,
but here's the thing that you don't understand.
Like St. John.
Building communities, here's what people don't understand. Building departments are revenue generators.
Yeah.
So the state is taking away that ability. So here's the other thing. You're not only going to get $1 million less in Munster, the State Board of Accounts is going to be looking and seeing. So you're going to have less money there. So the areas that you're drawing money are getting less, and all your other bills are expanding and increasing. That's deficit spending.
Well, and okay, so then I'll leave with this, and then we've got to go because we're 20 minutes late. What I will say
Thank you, guys. Thanks again.
Hey, thanks for calling in. The lobbyists down in Indianapolis have lobbied for this. Hey, we're done paying these fees to the municipalities, while at the same time they're also arguing for a reduction in the ability for the municipalities to hold their own building standards, in addition to wanting to loosen the reins to say, hey, we want 90-10, 95-5, 100-0. All of these lobbyists are looking, hey, we're great for the community, we're adding all of this stuff. But again, if the municipalities aren't having the money, and I get that I'm an elected official, so I'm going to always argue that, hey, we should get what we need to run the operation. We're not making widgets. We're not a...
You cannot exist just on people at 1%.
No.
This is 10 years ago when we brought this up, and we'll talk about it when Rear and I get together again. Back then, for every dollar that you give to a local government, a person, a resident, costs about $1.33. It's probably up to $1.50, if not more now. So you exist. So it needs to be a balance. You have to have people to have businesses, and you have to have places to work, but you can't live off 1%. You have to live off. You need the 2 and the 3, and you need some big hits.
Yeah.
And so for those communities like yours that has a little bit of land left, you can make some decisions. So the question was asked earlier, well, why don't you put this, if you have empty pieces of property in your community, you should be talking to everybody in economic development and saying, what are our options here? What are the ramifications if we go forward, whether it be an Amazon warehouse or whether it be a data center, whether it be whatever, or someone that's packing meat, whatever it is. Munster Steel used to be in Munster right there. It was a steel mill. So you have to make decisions, and that's where elected officials like yourself and and I'm going to keep beating that drum. And it's not about me. I've already had my fun in the sun, brother. I've had my bite out of the apple, and let me tell you something. It's been a good one. It's been a good one, and I want to make sure that for my daughters and my grandson and hopefully future grandkids, that we leave this place better than we had it. And I'm going to continue to do that. So thank you very much for your time, Bob, for inviting me, and thank you guys for listening, and I hope we can do it again in the future.
Have a good one. Everyone stick around for about 10-15 minutes. Veteran Views will be on. Thank you, Adriana, our bi-weekly producer over there.
In the greatest country in the world, 250. Enjoy all summer. It's not just one day. It's not just one weekend. It's the summer of 250, the greatest country in the world.
Have a good one. See
I'm
you
a
next
victim
week.
of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention, and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and